Last year, the Crows made their AFL debut here at Football Park and stunned the mighty Hawks. Already this year, they've beaten Footscray at Waverley Park. Now they clash again in the first round of the home and away series. The Crows, with their massive local crowd support, will be pumped, while the Dogs will be determined to avenge their Foster's Cup loss. Good afternoon everyone and welcome to Football Park here in Adelaide on a very warm, sticky day for this first round match between the Adelaide Crows and Footscray. As I mentioned in our opener, they have already met once in the Foster's Cup. On that particular occasion at Waverley Park in Melbourne, the Crows were far too good for the disappointing Bulldogs, who had set their sights on victory for the entire Foster's Cup. But now it's for 4 premiership points and things are going to be a little different. The Dogs, they say, have learned a lot from that loss and are ready for today. Very good crowd has built up here once again, which is great to see. Probably looking at a crowd of around 30,000 at the moment, but they are still pouring in here to Football Park. We had a game yesterday afternoon. We also had one last night. And the Brisbane Bears for 3 quarters looked as though they may get the points, but it wasn't to be, with Carlton storming home with a 6-goal final term and running out comfortable victors. 13-14-92, Brisbane 10-8-68. I should mention also today there is another game in progress, and that match is being played at Waverley Park in Victoria between St Kilda and Essendon. It should be a beauty. The Bombers and the Saints will be giving you scores throughout the day, but if you don't want to see them throughout the day, then please just look away, pop outside, get a cup of tea or do whatever you must do. But that one is on during the day. Later on there'll be a replay, but wherever you may be viewing around the country, check your local guides for details times. Well, all players have settled down to their respective teams for the year. That, of course, came about after the March draft concluded. For a report on the draft and who went where, let's take this report from Gerard Healy.
AFL clubs finalised their list last week with the completion of the March draft. All clubs except the Crows took part, and players who had been dropped from the club list or those unable to negotiate a suitable contract were eligible. As usual, there was the odd highlight. The Eagles couldn't resist the temptation of having former Essendon captain Tim Watson on their list, but it's doubtful it will come to anything other than newspaper headlines. Some clubs elected to redraft their own players, but most used their first pick in a last-minute bid to bolster weaknesses in their team structure. Fitzroy picked up ex-Geelong utility Gavin Exel and Wayne Moose Henwood, and Alex Ishenko, who have both had stints in Darwin over summer, will turn out in new club colours. Henwood, drafted by Melbourne, is perhaps an unofficial statement by the club, but they erred in letting Earl Spalding go to Carlton. Ruckman Ishenko ended up at North Melbourne, despite throwing up a pre-draft smokescreen that he was returning to Brisbane for business reasons. It's doubtful he fooled anyone, but North now have a second option in the ruck. The Bears used the number 1 choice of the draft to recruit 18-year-old Ashley Green, who played 8 reserves games with Essendon last year. At 194 centimetres, he's a very tall and mobile young player who could well prove to be the jewel of this year's draft. The Bears also picked up Jason Jones, who dominated the ruck in Darwin's local competition this year, and Darren Barch dropped off the Crows list. If the magical Phil Cracker can overcome his age and injury problems, and Alan McCullough, formerly of Richmond and Footscray, can address his attitude problem, the Swans will have 2 ready-made senior players. But both would appear very risky propositions. But that's the nature of the March draft. Last year, of the 59 players picked, only 9 made a significant impact at senior level, with Michael McLean being the pick, winning the Bears Best and Fairest last year. Well, I can't see a Best and Fairest winner amongst this lot, but just remember, Greg Williams, Kevin Sheedy and Stan Ells are all told on their initial attempts at league football that they weren't good enough. And who knows, in the next couple of years, some of these unknown young players may develop and could well prove to be the outstanding picks of this year's March draft.
yes, let's hear the Cameron Crows cheerleading a beautiful rendition by these very talented young ladies. And ladies and gentlemen, you've asked for them. Here they are, the Adelaide Cameron Crows.
Which
And would you please welcome to Adelaide the Footscray Bulldogs as they make their appearance on the football park. And congratulations to Peter Foster. He's 150th league game today, so congratulations, Peter Foster. Looking at the additions to the Footscray Bulldogs.
It's not a huge record between these two clubs. They've played on 2 occasions and won apiece. Adelaide's greatest winning margin on that particular day last year was 31 points, and Footscray turned the tables by the tune of 24 points. Coaches and captains for the two clubs this year: Graham Corns back once again for the Crows, and his skipper is Chris McDermott. Terry Wheeler back again for the Dogs, and Dougie Hawkins lining up once again wearing the famous number 7 Guernsey, a man who wore another jumper with great distinction, number 4.
Thank you, Sandy.
Numero uno, Ross Glendinning. Welcome, Ross.
Thank you very much. Beautiful day too. A bit warm though.
Pleasant trip across the Nullarbor.
Lovely, thank you. Very
Let's
nice
have
of
a
you to
look at
ask.
these two sides, because on paper, we'll look at the Crows first, but on paper, the Bulldogs look pretty good.
They do actually. I just think they're perhaps a bit tall, but looking at this Crows side, their back line is a very good running line there, particularly that half back line. I think you'll find Bickley lining up at half back, McDermott in the centre, Negri to carry the ruck in the absence of Mark Micken, who had a fantastic year last year, and Ingerson at centre half forward to complement Klug. They could alternate their half forward flank and centre half forward. A very damaging half forward line, along with Jamison, Sandy and Hodges at full forward there. Very, very exciting.
Well, you mentioned the height in this Footscray lineup. We'll have a look at it now, and incidentally, congratulations to Peter Foster, 150 games.
Yeah, marvellous effort for a fellow who struggled a bit earlier on. And their full forward line there of Charles and Ballantyne, very tall. Ballantyne, I like, kicked 6 goals last week in a swamping that Footscray received at the hands of Geelong. Atkins is just one fantastic player. Foster, of course, at centre half-back will have a fine duel there with Hodges or Klug. And Tony Campbell coming, Sandy, from Melbourne, has a big job there at fullback.
I mentioned earlier that Ian Robertson, another former great, will be joining us today on the commentary team. So too will Max Stevens. And Max is down on the ground now at the moment, ready for the Mitsubishi Motors ground report. Max, I understand we've had a lot of rain here in Adelaide in the past couple of days, but gee, this ground looks to be in perfect condition.
Certainly is, Sandy. You can tell by the way I'm squinting that it's pretty warm here in Adelaide. Maybe beach conditions as opposed for a game of football. Friday night it rained heavily and again on Saturday morning. But today, as I said, ideal. And have a look at the current temperature. It's 23.5 degrees. That's ideal for footy. The expected top 26. Humidity. It's going to be a bit tough for the players. 67%. The wind about 20 kilometres, fairly strong, blowing right to left of screen. Now the goal advantage, we would suggest it's about 2 to 3 goals. As you said, the ground condition here at Football Park is excellent, but because of the rain in the last couple of days, maybe a little slippery underfoot, and the forecast, fine, mild to warm.
Thank you, Max. So it is the Crows and the Bulldogs. We'll take a break and then be back with all the action here at Football Park.
Hi, I'm Tony Liberatore from the Footscray Football Club. You get all the best footy on Channel 7.
So the interchange players for the Footscray Bulldogs are number 34, Ben Sexton, and 11, Shannon Corcoran. For Adelaide, 23, Peter McIntyre, and 33, Wayne Newman. So umpires John Harvey and Grant Vernon asking the opposing captains, Tristan Dermott for Adelaide and Doug Hawkins for Footscray to join them in the centre square for the toss to elect teams. Doug Hawkins wins the toss, so Footscray kicking to the northern end of Football Park. Reminder, of course, patrons, don't forget to support the 1992 Barcelona Olympic appeal by purchasing your Barcelona bottle at a cost of $3.50 from any of the Coca-Cola brands around the ground.
Welcome back to Football Park here in Adelaide. Crowd building all the time, over 30,000 here at the moment, and a warm welcome. Warm being the operative word to Ian Robertson. Welcome, Robbo.
Well, thanks, Sandy. It certainly the scene is set for an important clash between these two sides. I think, always in the first match of the season, both teams are very, very keen and enthusiastic. I'm sure Footscray will put up a better exhibition than they did against Adelaide in the Foster's Cup.
Started already, Hawkins and Lee.
Yeah, don't worry about that. They'll want to win, Footscray.
Now, selections quickly, gentlemen. Firstly, Ross Glendinning.
Adelaide.
Robbo.
I'll throw a cat amongst the pigeons and go for Footscray.
And Max Stevens.
Adelaide by 26, Andy.
Couldn't be more specific, no. 26 points. I too will go for the Crows, simply because they're at home.
Well, I wouldn't get looked after at the Albion Inn Hotel in Smith Street, Collingwood, if I didn't tip Footscray, Sandy.
Here we go. Football action at Football Park commences for season 1992. The Dogs kicking with the breeze. Negri stands his ground. Liberatore gets the first kick of the match up towards the half-forward line. Ballantyne is hammered out of the way. Gets the hand pass out now. It's wide, however. Kolyanouk under pressure. Sweeps it even further wide towards the boundary line. McGuinness applies the tackle, much to the delight of this biased crowd. Marshall handballs back inside. Liberatore gets it off once again. The Bulldogs attacking early, up towards centre half forward. No one at home, however, and the mark is taken by Smith.
And it's Lee taking the hand pass, kicking into an open space on centre wing. Chance there for Brownie, run down by Kellett. Footscray souped up for this match. Gets the hand pass away to Maynard. The kick towards centre half forward by that player is taken by Foster. He's brilliantly tackled. Ingerson gets it off to Liptak. And Liptak's kick is wide, out of bounds on the full in the right forward pocket for the Crows.
Good positive tackle there by Scott Hodges too, Robbo.
Actually, there have been a couple of fierce ones over there on the other side, on the right half forward flank for Footscray. Kolyanouk went for McGuinness at 100 miles an hour and missed him. Ball nearly in the centre. Darryl Hart away to McGuinness. Just gets his right foot to the ball, which was important. Kellett's a chance between half back and back pocket. Round onto the left foot. He's forced to kick long and does it pretty well too. Centre wing, no mark taken. Play on, no, over the shoulder. And the free kick to be taken by Maynard on centre wing for the Crows.
Rod Maynard to send the Crows into attack. Good looking drop punt up towards the 50-metre line. McPherson at the back, pushing the ball along in front of him, runs across half-back, then gets a good hand pass away to Peter Foster. Little left foot chip goes up towards centre wing. Effective enough, however. Charles it was. Now to half forward, just too long for Amano Negri. Ball spills free, Lee gets it out, and the Crows out of trouble once again. Bickley's kick comes back towards centre wing, and once again Justin Charles, the ever enthusiastic Justin Charles, is the stumbling block.
Yeah, read that well, Sandy. That breeze is quite strong, going from right to left on your screen.
Charles long and low. Ballantyne was the flyer at the back, couldn't take it. Hawkins to Liberatore. He could be the first score of the match as Libber's kick bounces in towards goal, and there's the first one on the board to the Dogs. Liberatore, reigning best and fairest champion from the Western Oval, gets the first for the day, and they lead by 6 points.
Well, they certainly want to make the most of this. Doug Hawkins, their skipper, won the toss, elected to kick with this breeze, which is quite strong. We've estimated about 3 goals to that end, and they've certainly got to make the most of it, and they've done that in this early part of the game with Liberatore opening up.
It's a bit fluky, the breeze. It's certainly the flags on top of the stands out in the outer, indicating that it's blowing quite strongly to the left of screen as Wind contests the ruck work. McPherson kicks Footscray to centre half forward. No mark taken. Free kick picked out of the marking contest. It's going to Footscray to be taken by Grant, held by the jumper. Grant from centre half forward. Kicks long. Gets good distance. It may bounce through. No, just to the right. And it's through for a behind. So Bulldogs 1-1, lead Adelaide, yet to score. Lee for Adelaide to kick the ball back into play. Looking for a short, and it's on. Into the back pocket, Smith has made good position, takes the mark and plays on quickly. Not a bad kick either, finds Maynard. Didn't have much room, but he, whoops, good precision. Oh, the kick is smothered by Charles and taken over. So Maynard a little disappointed with his efforts there.
Well done by Charles, kept his eye on the ball, stood his ground well, and just put his hands out there. Didn't take his eye off the footy, smothered very well.
Ball just forward of centre wing for the Bulldogs. Negri up against Charles. Atkins, vice captain this year, but it's Negri who finishes with it. Now the Dogs a chance to go forward through Hart. It could be a free kick down the ground here.
Yeah, Kolyanouk too heavy on Hart afterwards. It's got to be downfield.
So Darryl Hart is up. He's quite okay. Anthony Ingerson will hand it over to his teammate, and the Crows now have a chance to go deep into attack through Matthew Liptak up towards half forward. No mark taken. Pack of players there. No one able to get out. There's a tackle too high on Marshall.
Interesting, Sandy, the umpire go for pushing the back, but it was just a smidge high, I thought.
Smidge, a big smidge.
They're big over here. We'll see this again. Definitely very high.
So David Marshall, one of the veterans of this Crows outfit. A chance to post his sides first. It's a big crowd, but it's very hushed at the moment. Let's see what he can do. Kicking from 40 metres, that's setting in the air, and he's gone for distance, and it's just gone away to the left with a little bit of the breeze as well. And one behind. So the first score on the board for the Adelaide Crows. They trail by one straight kick. May even be worth perhaps a little more than 2 goals, Roscoe.
It possibly could, as Robbo said. It's a bit fluky, but certainly 3 goals, I would say.
Campbell's kick, well, it's almost down to centre wing. It's a prodigious kick. Clue gets it across to Hart. Here's a chance now for McGuinness, forward of centre. He kicks up towards the half-forward line. Good-looking kick. Out comes Hodges. Was that around the shoulder? Campbell was too high. And so Scott Hodges, who averaged only around 3 goals a game last year, will be looking for a solid start today. Well, he wastes no time. Quickly on the drop punt on its way. Looks pretty good, but again, the wind doing the trick and taking it away to the left, holding it up, and another behind.
Yes, you've almost got to aim for the middle of the right hand, between the middle of the right hand goal and point post. Yep, to make sure you get that accuracy.
Actually, Ross, if you play this side of the ground, it looks as though there wouldn't be all that much difficulty in taking the ball to the right-hand end.
Certainly defend the other side, but come through and attack after you got through the centre, Robbo, down this side.
Campbell kicks it long. It's gone 65 metres towards the Footscray goal, and McPherson gets through. Handball away to Baxter, who loves to run with the football. This time he gives the hand pass wide to Wallace. Wallace's pass, just a little bit too far for Ballantyne. In comes Grant. The tackle probably a little bit extended on Ben Hart, and young Ben Hart, 18 years of age, will take the free kick in the back pocket for the Adelaide Crows.
He's holding on here, got rid of the footy and just the tackle carried on there. Free kick.
Hart, nice kick, close to the boundary line. The wind has taken it over on the full, so certainly the breeze, even though it's favouring the left-hand end, is blowing towards that outer side, maybe into that right half-forward pocket area. Here's Coleman for Footscray. A long kick into the pocket. Hawkins just gets rid of his opponent. Maybe, no, he's paid the mark. Good body work, Ross, or maybe a free kick against Doug Hawkins.
Very close to a free kick there, Robbo, because he did use his body well, but accentuated it far too much. If you see it again, just push Lee. No, pay that, that's fair.
Well, he's got the football, and the umpire's given the all clear, so from that right forward pocket, Doug Hawkins shoots for goal. Does it pretty well too. Well done. Hawkins gets his first goal. Footscray get their second, and they lead 2-1 to Adelaide, 2 behinds.
As I mentioned, after Liberatore's first goal for the Dogs, they've got to make sure they get 5 or 6 in this quarter at least. We see this mark again. Lee in front, got the front posse. Hawkins using that right shoulder well. I thought he accentuated too much, but it was a very good kick, aiming on this occasion to the left-hand side.
It's Tony McGuinness who sends the Crows into attack down towards the half-forward line. But only as far as that half-forward line. Repelling it was Stanfield. Gets it back towards centre wing once again. Liberatore's been busy early. So too Atkins. Has it now, but he's in trouble. Hart applies the tackle. Does get his kick, however, and it bounces down towards the half-forward line once again. Footscray through Collianook down to full forward. No mark going to be paid. Ballantyne tries to shovel it on. That's good play by the Dogs. Baxter's at the back there. Can't do anything with it. Gets the hand pass out to Atkins. He's claimed by Hart. The ball spills free, and they're going to lose it. David Brown sneaking clear for the Crows. Out towards the centre wing, and the mark taken by Matthew Liptak.
Liptak wide between half forward and centre wing. Kicks it towards centre half forward. Marking contest, no one can take it. Down goes Liberatore, and surely that must be a free kick to the diminutive Footscray Rover.
Definitely is.
And umpire having a word to Steve McPherson, who came in to remonstrate with the Adelaide Crows player Ingerson. The tackle just a little too fierce. Liberatore's kick a little high, but Baxter was able to get back and mark. Tregenza, the player, trying to interfere there, but up towards full forward. No mark taken. Lee's under pressure. Well shepherded by young Hart. And the Crows get clear. The ball out towards centre wing. Klug, he's got 3 players to beat. Callan it is for Footscray. Kicks in towards full forward. It goes through the player. Now, a chance for Footscray through Hawkins. Can he kick his second? He can. Well done, Doug Hawkins. Hawkins 2 goals. Liberatore won, Footscray have kicked 3-1, and they lead Adelaide, who are 2 behinds.
And they're reading the ball better in the air too, Robert. They're feeding off the packs very well. Reading the ball as it spills to ground there. Klug had to battle 3 players, you called it. And Kellett kicked there whilst almost underground. Did well there, and Hawke just roving that very well in a clever kick.
So there's Doug Hawkins, 2 goals to his name, and earning his posse in the Footscray team up in that forward pocket. Ruck contest, Wine gets it, McDermott goes after the football. Chance now for Tui. Tui's quick kick to half forward. Charles and Tasker. Tasker a little bit better on the ground maybe, and he's able to bundle it over the boundary line just outside 50 metres. Right half forward for Footscray. Well, there's a belief that Footscray's 4 talls on the forward line. Coleman, Grant, Charles and Ballantyne is a disadvantage, but we'll wait and see. Atkins hard up against the boundary line, shoots, and it goes across goal. It may have hit the behind post on the full, and therefore it is a free kick to the Adelaide side to be taken in the back pocket by Lee. His kick, well marked by Smith, well done. Handballs away to Tasker. Tregenza it was. Tregenza's kick up towards half forward where Foster has control of the football. 150 games to Peter Foster. Kick back towards half forward. No one home. Maynard marked safely on his chest. Kicks it back towards the wing, and the mark is taken by Ingerson. Player on his own here is Liptak. He's a little too slow. Didn't quite sum it up well enough. McPherson couldn't quite mark. Foster in there to give a chop out. Now a chance for Tregenza. Handballs to the player under pressure. McGuinness, his hand pass. Marshall, maybe a little slow, but he's able to slip the tackle from Wallace and kicks it in towards the front of the goals. It's an excellent kick by Marshall. No one home when the ball hits the ground. Hodges forced to go for the mark and then try and recover quickly. Hard in there now. He's well hemmed in by Stanfield, and the ball will be forced to a bounce. Hard up against the boundary line in that left forward pocket for Adelaide.
They're deceiving that ball too, carrying too far. Hodges really set himself for the mark, took a few steps back, but even found with that the ball carrying over his head.
Wind again, straight over the boundary line and a throw in. The Dogs at the moment by 17 points, but they're kicking with the breeze. If you may have just joined us here at Football Park, as usual, a monster crowd and very warm conditions. They've had a lot of rain in the past 24 hours. Klug's kick is high. Foster's underneath it. Hodges is there too. Hammered away from him. Liberatore a chance to clear. Under pressure, he does get it away. Down towards the half-back flank. Tregenza first to it. Now McGuinness. Back to Tregenza, who'll soccer off the ground or attempt to. Liptak. Poor hand pass. Chance for the Dogs to get out of trouble. Collier only went to centre wing as far as Coleman. He gets a kick, but that's going to drop short onto the chest of Negri.
Well, there should have been a handball onto McPherson, who'd run about 20 metres away. Poor play there by Coleman.
Tasker. High to half forward. Wine setting himself.
Ingerson, good mark. No, it's gone the other way. I would have poked that.
Foster, man in front. Kick is very wide. Rowan Smith, boy from Yarraville, on the outer side of Football Park, goes up towards half forward. Charles trying to cut across in front. Ballantyne is there. Wearing him like a glove is Ben Hart. And it's over the line.
Mentioning on the bench too, Sandy, for the Crows. We have Wiedemann and also McIntyre.
Negri beaten for it by Coleman on that occasion. Here's a chance for Grant, but he overruns it at the critical time. Now tries to go out the back door to Atkins. He's under pressure. Good work by Tasker, but he gets it back to Grant. He threw it out, he said. So they've lost it.
Tasker's in the left back pocket for the Adelaide Crows and kicks it nicely back towards centre wing. Marking contest, no one can control the ball. McPherson beaten for it by Klug. Hand pass away to Liptak. Well tackled there. And Adelaide under pressure. Brown kicks it towards centre half forward. Brilliant gather by Ingerson. Goes wide with a hand pass to Marshall. Under a little bit of pressure. He gives it to Jamison. Jamison's kick to full forward. Hodges. A real hard one to get when the ball went to ground then. But Maynard away to Klug. Klug's pass is okay. McGuinness has got open space. What can he do with the right foot? Kick a goal. Brilliant football by Klug to assess the situation. He saw McGuinness on his own, gave him the space, and McGuinness put it on his right foot beautifully.
Yeah, and the second time too, Robbo, that Scott Hodges had a dip at the footy. Good to see. He made the contest there on the half-forward line, just here. And then we see Klug's very clever kick. Quick hands from Maynard. And Klug knew that McGuinness was free. And a very clever right foot kick there.
The margin now is 11 points in favour of Footscray. Good goal by McGuinness. His first, however, for the Crows. Cutting the margin. Atkins soccers off the ground, but the whistle had already sounded.
Yeah, too high, Sandy, for McPherson.
McPherson. So he'll take it just forward of centre. Steve McPherson. Ballantyne offers him a lead. He heads towards that player, a little too far out in front, and he lumbers after it. It's going to be kept in play only just by Ben Hart. Coleman, a little too far underneath the football, opens the door for Smith, gets it across to McDermott, who bounces his way across centre wing. The inspirational skipper does it well to McGuinness. Eventually heads for home. A long kick. Hodges going back into the pocket. Going to be under pressure from Campbell. Comes to ground. Crowd roars. Oh, Hodges caught one then. And he'll take a free kick.
Well, that's kicking in danger.
Oh, my word. He made the effort, Hodges, to knock the ball forward. Went after it again, but definitely a free kick there.
Actually, I think he could have nearly got a free kick for holding on too long.
I was going to say that was the first one I would have given, definitely. And that free kick there, certainly for kicking in danger.
So Scott Hodges on a pretty tight angle. Runs round to just tidy up the angle. McDermott's the high flyer in the pocket. Foster is there with him, however, and sees it over the line. It was touched.
I tell you what, it must be very, very difficult to assess the wind at that right-hand end, because that ball then, he ran around and he probably thought the wind was going to blow it back in towards the goal, and it blew it away from the goal.
He's in the most difficult position to kick a goal from.
Wind, front spot, clean bowls, Peter Foster, and so another throw in. Still in the Crows' right forward pocket. Graham Corns. Beginning his second year at the helm of the Adelaide Crows. From the throw-in, McGuinness tries to tap towards McDermott. He may run out of room here. He does. Throw in again. Wind in front, straight down to Foster. Kicks in towards the centre. Clean bowls Brown. Still an opportunity, however, as Mark Bickley accepts the hand pass, goes back in towards full forward, but reading it well was Campbell, and he takes the mark in the back pocket.
Campbell switches play to the opposite side of the ground, and out there he finds Baxter in the right back pocket. Darren Baxter plays on quickly, kicks towards centre wing. It beats the two players there at the back of Smith and Coleman. Smith the first to recover, will take it over. Wasn't much else he could do there, and we'll have a boundary throw in on centre wing on that outer side. Actually, it's amazing here, Sandy. 15 minutes before the game started, you would have thought that there was going to be maybe an ordinary crowd of about 20,000, and now everywhere you look, the sea of faces. So the Adelaide people certainly come out in their numbers to follow the Adelaide Crows. At centre half forward for Footscray, interference there by Charles, so the free kick is taken by Tasker. He goes away to Lee. Lee is hemmed in that back pocket, now forced to kick with the left foot, does it pretty well, back towards the wing. Baxter's caught with the foot. He gets the hand pass away to Wallace. He's well tackled, but again the ball hemmed in, so the umpire will be forced to bounce. Steve Wallace and David Marshall,
both having bad injuries last year. Marshall with a shoulder and Wallace with a broken arm, missed the second half of the season.
Umpires today, John Harvey and Grant Vernon. Steve McPherson away to Baxter. Baxter goes straight towards goal. This could bounce through. It's going, and gone. Through for a behind. Footscray supporters watching at home would have been a little anxious there, hoping that it may have bounced to the right. They had a little bit of luck with the first goal through Tony Liberatore, the ball bouncing through. That one not kind.
Oh, he said it was a deliberate kick.
Well, good luck to him. He's got a goal on the scoreboard. The kick in comes to this near side. Good punch by Wind. Liberatore shrugs the tackle. Can he kick his second? Oh, yes he can. Tony Liberatore, the Brownlow medalist. Second goal to Liberatore, and Footscray get their fourth. They're 4-2, Adelaide 1-2.
And Robbo, he certainly meant that one. Again, roved it very well. Very deliberate kick. And they certainly need that one. They need, as I mentioned earlier on, 5 or 6 goals in this quarter with the breeze. Liberatore just breaking the tackle there of Maynard and finished off very well.
Two to Liberatore, 2 to Hawkins, and Footscray 4-2 leading Adelaide 1-2. Back for the centre bounce again. McDermott holds it in the middle there, and we'll see another bounce. You may see a sign here on the turf for Football Park this afternoon, Adelaide 1998, and just be wondering what it is. There are officials from the Commonwealth Games here today inspecting this arena and others around, and we wish Adelaide all the best in their bid for the 98 Commonwealth Games. Marshall sees Wallace soccer it off the ground down towards Glenn Coleman, roaming across that half-forward line, but it's Smith who intercepts. Just goes with a short little chip, finds David Marshall. The crowd like it. Marshall goes further up towards the half-forward flank. He's got David Brown running loose there. Brown stabbing in towards the 50-metre line. Not far enough, however. Hodges has got to come out and apply the tackle, and it's a good one too on Peter Foster. And we'll find ourselves with a bounce in the left forward pocket.
Well done by both players there. Foster for attacking the footy, had to go for it, try to avoid the oncoming tackle from Hodges. Couldn't do so, and it was a good tackle by Hodges.
Left forward pocket for the Adelaide Crows. Brown gets it away quickly. Liptak also gives a little bit of ground before they can make some. The kick is high. Hodges is coming in late. No one able to take it. McGuinness comes off his hands. That could be a goal. Kick by Matthew Liptak. His first and the Crows second. 2-2, 14, Footscray 4-2, 26.
And we've seen some good roving off the pack so far. Liberatore a couple of times and Doug Hawkins in the forward line. On this occasion, Liptak. Ingerson comes back against the play here. Courageous stuff there, but reading off very well there from the tap from McGuinness. Intentional or not, Liptak did very well.
Yeah, certainly did, Matthew Liptak. He's a lively player, no matter where he plays. Footscray lead by 2 goals, but we've decided that they may need to lead by more than that at quarter time. The kick's certainly going to the right-hand end of the ground, holding up in the breeze, so it's important that Footscray get maybe 1, possibly 2 more goals before quarter time. Negri, Wind. No one can really do much with it. Wind goes in with the foot again. Negri, Atkins, Kellett. Wind at ground level, not bad. Kellett, little tap on, not quite far enough. Oh, Bickley was in there. Now a chance for McGuinness to get the ball clear, but the free kick has been picked out of it. It's going to McGuinness, is it? No.
Yes, it is.
It is?
Yeah, the tackle was laid for too long after he'd got rid of the footy.
McGuinness, a lively customer in this Adelaide Crows team, certainly gives his all. Not a bad kick either into the breeze. Up towards centre half forward, no mark taken. Chance there for Tui. His handball was blocked. Hart, Ingerson, Brown, Klug. Always looks as though he's got half an hour to dispose of the football, and then does it brilliantly and gives it to Hodges. He may have dropped it, Sandy, do you think?
The important part there, Robbo, Klug not dishing out the ball too quickly, not panicking, just held onto it for long enough to dispose. He had a handball option, now the kick. And Sandy, you're not happy with the way whether he held that long enough? I think he did.
I haven't said a word, Roscoe.
That's why. If only the people at home could see the facial expressions. Hodges from directly in front, and he misses. Gee, that's critical. Throws the grass in the air to see just where he made the error in the tricky wind. And he's kicked to behind. That's his first score for the afternoon. Tony Campbell goes long again. Kicks it well outside 50 metres, nearly to the wing. Chance for the Bulldogs. Stanfield, hand pass, not quite accurate enough. Atkins tries to get it to Baxter. Oh, a little high. Marshall the tackler. So Baxter will take the free kick on centre wing.
Pretty busy, Roscoe, Baxter.
My word. Oh, he's a very fine running player.
Goes long, down towards half forward, bounces over the back. Hawkins has kicked 2, but it's not going to be 3. He's going to get a free kick.
He did it well.
He did. Well, again, Lee, there's been a few of these free kicks paid so far where the players are hanging on too long after the ball's been disposed of. On that occasion, Hawkins played it up a little bit.
I don't know whether he ever really had control of the football.
Well, that's the other thing. See, he's been held by the jumper initially. He really never grabbed it with his hands. And again, the tackle laid, not in possession of the footy.
So the Bulldogs skipper for his third, and he makes no mistake. 3 goals to Doug Hawkins, 2 to Tony Liberatore, and Footscray answer the challenge. They are 5-2, leading 2-3.
Yes, as Robbo mentioned, as we just watched this free again, you see initially Lee just pulling the jumper, the ball coming down, and Hawkins actually grabbing it, touching hands, letting it go. Some might say he dropped it, but just did it very cleverly.
Three goals to Doug Hawkins and stunned silence.
Yes, Bickley's now got the task on him too, Sandy. Lee has been moved off.
A big roar because warming up on the sidelines is Wayne Wiedemann for the Crows. Lee tries to go through after the centre bounce but can't do anything with it. Still tucked at the bottom. Eventually it comes out to Atkins. A hurried left foot kick almost smothered off the boot. Down towards half forward. Charles beaten for it. Back towards centre wing. Through Liberatore it goes. At the back is McGuinness. He'd love to do well against his old club. Marshall further down towards the left half forward flank and Liptak. Ripped off the football and has lost it.
There's free kick there, and the interchange being made. Wiedemann on and Scott Lee off. Wiedemann will go and take up Doug Hawkins, which will allow Bickley to go down the ground onto Collier.
Well, the sounds of the crowd, there could be some fireworks there. Negri. He's on centre wing, the big man. Goes towards half forward. Again, the wind making it difficult for all players, but Johnny Klug applying a tackle on Steve McPherson that is far too high.
Good to see with Klug and Ingerson across that half forward line, particularly Klug, who's used to playing the key role at centre half forward, perhaps taking more of a flanking role. He's doing it quite well so far.
Bernard Toohey, former Cat, former Bear, and now entrenched at the Western Oval. Smith's kick is high towards the left half forward flank. Back towards Johnny Klug, the player we were just talking about. And now a chance for the Crows to go forward through Bickley. Over the top it goes. McDermott looks for the free kick. Oh dear. Doesn't come his way. Foster clears with a booming punt kick. Down towards centre wing. Smith at the back could be first to it. Has it now, but he's under pressure. Heads towards the boundary line.
The umpire down that right hand did won't get out of Adelaide tonight, right. I'll tell you what.
Well, the crowd thinking if Hawkins got one at the other end for a similar sort of thing, why didn't the skipper for the Crows get one?
Right half forward for Footscray. Chance now for Grant. Oh, talented man for a 6'4". Collinuke. Shot for goal is another Footscray goal. Steve Collinuke gets Footscray's 6th goal, and their scoreboard now looking rather healthy. 6-2 to 2-3 with that wind going behind them in this first term.
Yeah, good quick hands here as Robbo called by Grant. Just stood his ground very well. Moved it on very quickly to Colin. That's a very good kick too, to carry into that breeze, with that breeze, sorry, the breeze going from left to right.
Just over 2 minutes remaining, 6-2 to 2-3, and before Mrs. Toohey gets upset, of course, your son wasn't with the Bears, she was with Sydney Swans, and he was very good too. Now he's with the Dogs. And they're looking the goods at the moment. Down towards Charles on that half forward line. He's got to try and hammer it to make valuable metres, but no one there to help him. It's Smith who goes for the hand pass, but it's too wide on this occasion for Sean Tasker at over the line.
Whilst we've spoken about the breeze a fair bit this quarter, it will be quite a relief for the players to have a breeze because it's very sticky out there, and they'll need that relief for that question.
Another bounce on the outer side. Footscray do have their fans here, which is good. There is the Footscray chant slightly in the background as Atkins storms clear after the bounce, goes onto the left foot, pulls it in towards goal. Hawkins at the back, can't take the mark. He recovers well. Can he pull it round his body? He can, but not quite far enough. And one behind.
A couple of players calling for it, but if you're in that position, Robbo, your first instinct is kick the goal, particularly with so little time left.
Did say that Footscray had their supporters here. That's good to see.
Tasker, short kick. Little bit of a risk, but it comes off. Hart, handball over the top. Not all that accurate, but Tasker's got time to recover and kick it long out towards the half-back area. Smith running with the flight of the ball. The bounce is kind for him. Hand pass a little awkward for Tregenza, but he's quick enough to make a little bit of space and eventually gets his kick away. The supporters screaming for a free kick as Tregenza was flattened. Smith has run on beautifully. Took the handball from Marshall. Fed Klug. Liptak was the hand passer to Klug. Now Footscray under pressure at half-back. McPherson may go across goal. No. He may still be forced to go long across goal. He kicks long back towards centre half-back. Fortunate for Footscray. Winders there on his own.
Oops.
Play on. Oh, you're gone. Where was the talking there? Brown recovers. McDermott was the tackler. The ball at the back now. Liptak can't get through. Going nowhere. And the umpire calls for a bounce.
You can't believe that a player like Wine didn't see McDermott coming. Just on his right-hand side there, he thought he had all the time in the world. A great tackle. But the player who's also responsible for getting the ball down there was the ability of Smith to run from the back line to create the play. Well done.
Seconds only now for the Crows to score a goal in this first quarter, but time has expired for them as David Marshall will pick up the football. It's quarter time here at Football Park. Footscray kicking with the breeze, leading by 4, 6-3 to 2-3.
Facing Bob Davies from Footscray to report to the Green Gate, please. Repeating, Bob Davies from Footscray required to report at the Green Gate.
Quarter time here at Football Park in the clash between Footscray and Adelaide. Footscray kicking with the breeze, booted 6-3-39. They lead Adelaide 2-3-15. A reminder too about some of the top sport coming away on 7 in future. Next week it's to Sweden and the city of Lund in the south of Sweden for the Davis Cup quarter-final between Australia and Sweden. And news is that the court has not been prepared for Sweden. It hasn't been prepared for Australia. It's been prepared for Stefan Edberg. So that's going to be very interesting to see how we fare in that one. But of course, all that action you can see on 7. Just check your local guides wherever you may be viewing around Australia. For the petrol heads, well, there's plenty coming there. Round 4, and Roscoe's licking his chops here. The Touring Car Championships, April 5. That is coming to you from Winton. And then Barcelona bound will be our swimmers. If they're successful at the Olympic swimming trials, they're coming to you from Canberra. As I said, wherever you may be viewing around the country, just check your local guides for details. There is another game on today as Graham Corns has a long chat to his charges at quarter time. That is at Waverley Park in Melbourne between St Kilda and Essendon. Now, if you don't want to know the scores of that game because of a replay situation coming up a little bit later on, then please look away because here they come now. Max Stevens has been down listening to Graham Corns. He's also been over to Wheeler Territory and the Dogs. Let's have his report now. Max, what news have you from both coaches?
Well, Sandy, Graham Corns has asked the Crows to settle down. He said the finesse of the last couple of weeks wasn't there in that first quarter. He said there was quite a few unnecessary free kicks. So let's just concentrate a little bit more and get back to that game plan. Now, he also said that they've got the wind for 2 quarters, a pretty severe wind here at Football Park. So take advantage of it and use that centre corridor right down the middle of the ground. Terry Wheeler wants the Dogs to use the outer side of the ground this quarter. He was very happy with the way they read the ball, but they're going to really have to apply the pressure in this quarter.
Thank you, Max. Yes, they've got a 4-goal break, but is it enough, Roscoe?
Well, it's trying to save it too. They've got Doug Hawkins playing now by looks as a loose man in defence.
So here we go. The all-important second quarter. Negri gets the tap, but it doesn't gather a great deal of distance. Tregenza's kick is high over the centre, but straight down the throat of Wallace. He comes wide towards Steve Kolyanook. Kolyanook kicked a goal in the first quarter. Down towards Justin Charles, beats him over the line, and so a throw in, but Footscray have it on their 50-metre line.
And with Hawkins a loose man in the Footscray defence there, it leaves Darren Smith a free man for the Crows.
Negri in front. No one gets a decisive tap. Liberatore read it well. His hand pass, however, goes astray. Maynard may leave it for Mark Beckley. Gets it across to Smith, wider towards Tregenza. Can he get there in time? Oh, he did very well, Tregenza. That is fine play. Now they've got a chance to run it through Sean Tasker. Long, up towards the forward line. A bit of pushing and shoving there. But the mark is paid. And Jamison is just 35 metres out on a 45-degree angle.
Yes, and we see this again. It's probably his first touch of the footy for the game. Just a gentle nudge there, and just enough to get Stanfield out of the way. He judged that very well.
Rod Jamison.
Just about back this in, wouldn't you, on his form from last year? He's a brilliant kick for goal.
Kicked a couple of telling goals here.
My word.
Let's see what he does. I think he's drifted that across the face from behind.
Certainly gave it every chance, didn't he?
So first score of the quarter for the Adelaide Crows. They move to 2-4. But this is going to be a testing quarter for them. As Campbell kicks well back into the breeze. Or Negri got up high. And he's going to pump the Crows deep into attack once again. Mark Micken, of course, the club best and fairest, is missing today. So too Andrew Jarman and Nigel Smart. Negri in towards full forward. Touched off hands and through for one behind. Jamison unable to grab it in time to get a clean shot. So they move to 2-5. Trailing the Bulldogs 6-3.
The Footscray bench there of Ben Sexton and Shannon Corcoran.
Actually, even though they've got the breeze, you must kick accurately, and that's what Footscray did in the first term. 6-3 was a good result for their efforts. Now it's up to the Crows to make the most of their opportunities. Grant's hand pass, a little too fierce for Atkins. Now a chance for Liberatore working hard. Atkins and Grant combined, this time successfully. Kick towards half forward, and it finds Charles. He's got a player on his own, Coleman. Little kick's not bad. Coleman marks on the 50-metre line, and this will be an indication of what can happen from this side of the ground with the kicking. He goes in short. It's all right too. How did Grant get there on his own in front of Wiedemann? I'm sure Wiedemann is not picking up Grant. Short kick again. Hawkins, who we nominated was loose in defence, has run all the way down the ground and created a target for Chris Grant and has marked on much better angle and well within scoring distance.
Yeah, Wiedemann making a mistake there of assuming, which you can't do in the back line, the player was going to kick long.
Hawkins
Got to start it
kicks
way right.
a stab at it, trying to steer it through, and misses to the left. So he's kicked 3-2, Doug Hawkins, in that scoreline of 6-4. 6-4 plays 2-5 as Tasker prepares to kick the ball back into play for the Adelaide side.
He goes long and low. Now that is almost to the centre. Wind, however, takes an uncontested mark. Goes on with it quickly to his vice-captain in Atkins. Back towards half forward. Hammered down in front. Maynard gets the hand pass away to Tasker. That is a long kick over the square up towards centre half forward. They want the running players now. Kick is again off target by David Brown, and another behind goes on the board, so wasted opportunities early in this second quarter for the Adelaide Crows. And Wiedemann paying the price. Roscoe?
Yes.
Lee back on.
Yes, you just cannot afford to just assume your player won't get the football on the back line. You must stay with him, irrespective.
Campbell kicks out well once again. Negri in from the side, can't take the mark. Hart working hard, but Atkins is right on his hammer. McDermott comes over the top of Hawkins, rips him off the football. Play allowed to go on, but a steadying mark here taken by Baxter, and he will clear for the Dogs. From half back in towards the centre of the ground, Coleman shows agility. Glenn Coleman up towards the half-forward line, over the head of Charles. Tasker reads it well, and he gets a nice bounce. Goes for a defensive handball to himself, and then can't control it as it goes over the line.
Big job for Charles at centre half forward, Ross, to make sure that Tasker doesn't run off him.
Correct, and he's done that a bit too, Tasker.
Throw in again. Charles, Negri, McGuinness. Straight round his body, but straight to Coleman once again on centre wing.
Handballs away to Hawkins, who's being very, very productive. Kick towards centre half forward. Backing himself was young Hart. Well done for a youngster. Off to Lee. Lee's kick to centre half forward. Foster bumped out of it by Ingerson. Good play by another youngster. The left foot shot by Ingerson is not too bad. No, it just goes away to the right. And it's through for a behind.
Yes, he did that well because Peter Foster is a very hard man to move off the foot. He holds his ground very well. Been a good duel so far.
Well, the Crows have kicked 4 points in the second term so far. McPherson drops the mark from the kick in, able to recover. Left foot kick, accurate, finds Grant just behind the wing.
Overcoming his injuries, and I'm sure Footscray fans will be keen to see him do well this year. He gets it to Stanfield up towards the half-forward line, but only as far as Smith. Back towards centre wing. Grant is there to contest once again. Tregenza sees it over the line on the outer wing. David Brown picks himself up.
Ross, when you're kicking with the wind, you can always fall guilty to bombing away.
Oh, my word.
Doing that, do you think?
I think they are. They're not all that direct.
Throw in once again. Wind leaves. In fact, Atkins went to do the ruck work. Steve McPherson, a clever little tap over the top. Down towards Liberatore now. He gets boot to ball very, very quickly. To the 50-metre line he goes, in front of the scoreboard here at Football Park that shows Footscray 6-4, Adelaide 2-7. A warm, humid day here in Adelaide. Atkins again doing the work from behind as Negri locked arms. Chance for the Crows to mount something here though. Tregenza's kick goes up towards centre half forward. Clean bowls a couple. Hodges tries to get the hand pass away quickly. Oh, bang, down goes Matthew Liptak. Play goes on. Hodges high in towards full forward, but the breeze just taking it wider. And it finishes out of bounds on the full.
Gee, I thought that might have been a free kick. Hey, Robbo?
Rowan Smith was too severe on the Adelaide player there, surely.
Well, we'll have a look at the replay. There you are, gentlemen. Play goes on as we speak. And the Dogs out of trouble. Bernard Toohey back towards the centre. Charles was in front, couldn't take the mark. Look at Liver.
Terrific Coleman Shepherd.
Yes, he's put someone down. Liberatore's kick goes in towards half forward. Grant can't take it. Kick high back towards the centre. And the mark taken in that position by Mark Bickley.
Bickley. Go on, Ross.
Tony McGuinness is the player in trouble.
Yes, I tell you what, it was a very, very severe Shepherd. Chance here for Brown, who's tried to get through. No. Footscray in numbers will clear the ball. Toohey picked up the crumbs. Baxter's kick finds Coleman on centre wing. He won't be too popular for the rest of the day, as the boos will indicate already. Short kick. Grant misses it. They all miss it. Here's another Shepherd. Charles on Smith. Bit too hard. No. Baxter in towards full forward. No mark taken. Recovering. Valentine. Well tackled by Hart. Hart looks a good prospect. Going hard at the footy in that last line of defence. Maynard's handball. Whoa, does he put Bickley under a little bit of pressure? And down he goes, and the Adelaide crowd are wrapped. They've copped the free kick at last. And there's the 18-year-old in amongst it.
He's done well, hasn't he?
My word, he shows a lot of maturity for a young man. Bickley plays on quickly from that half-back line, kicks it across to the opposite side of the ground. Klug just gets rid of Toohey, but Toohey, a very, very determined player, is back into the action and beats Klug to the footy, and eventually will knock it over. Not much else you could do as Klug appeals to the umpire for a free kick, and we'll have a boundary throw in on centre wing, outer side. Still the Crows yet to kick a goal in the second term. Footscray kicking into the breeze, have added one behind.
Yes, worrying times for the Crows, because they've kicked just 4 points going with the breeze, and almost 16.5 minutes remaining. Throw in again on the outer side. Hart and Atkins. Wind comes across to do battle with Negri. I think this crowd was expecting an onslaught from the hometown today, and it has not been so to date. McDermott working hard at the bottom to Liptak. Maynard gets it back to McDermott. They're in trouble on that outer side. Footscray continue to apply the pressure. Pushing it further forward was Nigel Kellett, and eventually over the line.
I think Bernard Toohey had it spent there before it actually got it. Just chastising himself.
Veteran of 224 games. Bernard Toohey. Eventually he does get it out.
They've played a throw, which is what the crowd on that side are calling for. It's what the umpire picked up. Well done.
Still got it out.
Illegally.
Well, they've seen a couple of them today. So Klug in towards the 50-metre line. There's a strong mark. Jamison kicks towards Hodges, who backs himself and takes the mark.
Crucial kick this. He must get a goal here.
Going to be a difficult kick too. The breeze is blowing across the face of that goal.
Yes.
So Scott Hodges has got to start it. Well, he's kicked it, but it only just snuck in. That's what the Crows need. Scott Hodges gets his first, and they move to 3-7, trailing Footscray 6-4.
Yes, it was a good penetrating kick too, coming in from Jamison. It was Klug who pushed it downfield. Good mark and played on by Jamison there, and read it very well, did Scott Hodges there. Very deliberate.
Liptak gets a kick off the ground, goes to half forward. Tregenza, that's no, hasn't gone far enough, surely. Toohey spots a teammate further afield. It's Coleman. Tries to run around the opposition, he does. Taking a risk here, looking for Wine. Footscray got the numbers, but they're beaten for it by Hart. No, Baxter. Now Hawkins. Toohey, quickly. Centre wing, clean bowls, 2 Footscray players. Smith there for the Crows, back to Lee. Lee's kick towards centre half forward. Oh, well done. Getting back was Hawkins and marking safely on his chest at centre half back. It was a promising Crows onslaught. Away to Smith. Smith's kick. Up towards half forward, a little short. Bickley getting back. Strong. Kick smothered. Colin goes after it. Chance for Lee to get there and kick it away. Back towards centre half forward for the Crows. Oh, Klutz, but something out of nothing. Plays on. Hawkins did well. Forced the man to handball it away. Coleman again sweeping in that wide arc. Kicks with the right foot up towards half forward. Tasker can't mark. Oh, Bickley, severe on Valentine, but away goes Hart, and Hart kicks it back towards half forward, and that's nearly a good mark taken by Wine. First to recover was Ingerson. Away to Smith. In turn to McGuinness. McGuinness will go for goal. A lovely long kick by McGuinness comes back, but not far enough. And it's through for a behind to Adelaide.
Good play again, Robbo, as you caught it by Hart in the back line. Good direct footy.
He's a bit older than his years, really,
yes.
isn't he? At, only 18 years, just turned 18 in February, and playing his first game of AFL football, having played quite a fair bit here in Adelaide.
This was with North Adelaide. McPherson. Wide to the outer wing, and too wide as Chris Grant sees it over the line. .26 plays 40, under 13 minutes remaining. Negri, Atkins from the side, can't do anything with it. Neither can Liptak.
Well, after 8 goals in the first quarter, it's been very quiet from the goal scorer's point of view. Only 1 in this second term so far.
From the bounce, McPherson again on the left foot, high. Maynard is there. He's at the bottom of the pack now. Still got it. Can't get it clear. Liberatore goes in to try and get it. Now Baxter, and it's Baxter who gets it out nicely towards Grant. Chris Grant is on the 50-metre line. He needs someone to support him. The hand pass is partly smothered by Tasker. Grant may get another opportunity. Gets it across nicely. And now the Dogs through Kolyanook in towards full forward. And there's one to Ballantyne, his first. And he's put it out of the park. Almost.
Good play there by Chris Grant too. Just follow the ball on and a very intelligent handball. Got the ball quickly through to Kolyanook, who had the good sense to steady, not blaze away. Here we see Grant just following up again, his handball smothered by Tasker. Good quick hands there by Charles, and a handball on the ground, clever. Kolyanook draws the player. Well done.
Yes, it certainly is important that you have ball carriers, and Chris Grant was terrific in that passage of play to get the goal. Wallace goes underneath to McPherson. He's caught. Still the ball there to be won. The Crows force it towards Lee. He can't really control it. Tregenza's hand pass over the top. Marshall on his own at half forward. Kicks it long into the pocket. Hodges is out positioned this time by Campbell. And Campbell plays on. He's going to be tackled. Hodges will get the goal. Scott Hodges kicks his second goal, and under what you would call controversial circumstances, Tony Campbell being called to play on, the Crows swooped on it, and Hodges summed it up pretty well.
Did you see this again? That's a crucial kick too. Makes all the difference there. He took a few steps forward. Player McGuinness took him, and in all sorts of trouble, and Hodges did very well there under pressure.
Severe penalty to pay there for Tony Campbell, taking 1.5 steps forward. McGuinness coming from behind the man on the mark. Back in the centre. Chance for Lee. Forces his way through. Hawkins is going to get caught. No, he gets his kick away. Out towards the left half forward area. Smith is the first back there. And he runs away from Grant. He's got time to steady and have a look further afield. Delivers the ball pretty nicely. Tregenza couldn't mark, but he's back there to accept the hand pass from McGuinness. A little kick. Gives Marshall a chance, and he marks right half forward, about 40 metres from goal.
Very clever kick there by Tregenza. Gave Marshall time to run onto it, knowing the ball's going to sit up in the air. See this again, Marshall just running through very well.
David Marshall.
He's a marvel, really, Rob. I mean, you think he's played 300 games for Glenelg, and he's still playing now, having come back from that bad shoulder injury last year.
Yes, well, his reputation must be very good if the administration are prepared to persevere, and he's kicked the goal. Marshall's first goal. just a little bit of scent here for the Crows. 5-8, they trail Footscray 7-4.
Yes, and it's a crucial goal. Here we see Tregenza's kick. Did this very well, just set it up in the air for Marshall, and he didn't let him down and followed through and finished off very well.
So the Crows coming back. 8 points the margin. Crowd starting to find some voice. Ricochets from Wine down towards Liberatore. He tries to get it out. Pushed towards the wing. An opportunity for Kellett. Does well. A little chip up towards the half-forward line, and Steve Collinor, who kicked the goal in the first quarter, has it. Ballantyne gives him a lead. It's ignored. Collinor, however, still goes short, and this time Nigel Kellett.
I can't understand why they take so long. He's 50 metres from goal, kicking straight into the breeze.
All he's allowing is the opposition Crows just to bottle it up there.
It's still waiting. Shannon Corcoran in the meantime has come on. Former Glenelg player. Oh, Charles. Fine mark.
Well, it was as good a mark as Hodges was in the first term, so we're all square on the ledger.
And the player coming off Corcoran is Rowan Smith. You see this again. Good strong marking between two players. Good grab.
Gee, there'll be some excitement from Justin Charles if he dobs this, Sandy.
This is only his first. So when he gets about 5, he goes. He becomes very enthusiastic. But it's an important kick. The Dogs into the breeze. They want a goal badly, and he's kicked it. Look at him. He's very, very happy.
I don't think there are many people at the ground ecstatic about that.
Well, those people are there. It's good to see that they've got their support over here.
It's a very good mark and a critical goal, this, because the Dogs have had their share of the footy and they've restricted the Crows in this vital quarter. Crows with the breeze, and he did it very well.
So a very important goal for Footscray into the win. 8.5 minutes remaining. Margin again out to 14 points from the centre. Marshall tries to hoist it forward, but has an airing. Still gets down towards their half-forward line. Tui. The veteran does well, but his kick is not a good one. Straight to lead. Out wide towards Simon Tregenza. Bit of space for him. Tries to pull it round his body too sharply, looking for Clue. And little Liberatore sneaks in and does it very well indeed. Kellett now. Across the centre he goes, up towards Charles. His opposition Tasker, wearing him like a glove. Smith gets it out, pushes it wide, but McPherson comes in to meet Tregenza on that occasion. Gives Footscray possession, but only as far as the wing. Maynard has it now, and he's got the runners with him. Over the top it goes, the running Marshall. The left footer in towards centre half forward.
Free kick
Could be a
down the
free
ground.
kick down the ground. Marshall was felled after he kicked the ball, according to the umpire.
Gee, they're
Pretty hot, aren't they?
severe, can't
Yes.
they, Ross?
It was Corcoran, the player who infringed there. And Kluge's coming off. He looked very ordinary that last effort, the footy, when Liberatore took it from him. McIntyre's the player to come on to replace him.
Plays football a bit like that, John Kluge, doesn't he? Plays football a bit like that,
Yes.
laconically.
Kick in towards goal is again off to the right. So another behind on the board. Matthew Liptek now 1-1.
Yep.
And the Crows 5-9, trailing the Dogs 8-4.
Kellett has marked the kick in from Campbell, which was a good one. They go wider. Steve Wallace forced to kick with the left foot. Not too bad, out towards centre wing. No mark taken, in the back. Now the advantage is paid. Chris Grant's kick went nowhere. Liberatore back to Grant. Down he goes. Little kick by Atkins wasn't bad. McPherson wasn't going through there very successfully. Kellett's kick. No one home. Smith drops a sitter. Coleman's got the football hard up against the boundary line. Liberatore there to give him a little bit of assistance. There's 5 Crows, and Liberatore's going to hold the ball in. Well done, Tony Liberatore. A gutsy effort.
And they've held the footy in, Robbo, when they really should have got it in the first place.
Well, very true. Darren Smith dropping a mark. And maybe not enough talking by his teammate. I think it was Negri that was with him there. And if he had have let him know that he was clearly on his own, I'm sure he would have made a bread and butter job of it. Now the Crows back towards half forward. Marking contest there. Attempted kick off the ground by Liptak was unsuccessful, and Footscray just bundled over the boundary line, and I don't think they'd worry too much about that, Ross.
Not at all. In fact, I was going to say it's been a very good quarter by Footscray.
Under 6 minutes remaining. Crows wanting goals and wanting them badly. Wine thought about taking it out of the air and going on with it. Tregenza gets a short kick, some 10 or 15 metres, and is going to get a longer one now. He was infringed and will take the kick from the right half forward flank. Simon Tregenza looking to go up towards a congested half forward area. Hodges tries to spread eagle the pack. Liptak on the boundary line and under pressure, and over the line once more.
Campbell was good then, and straight at that player.
Yep, I think those gloves are helping him.
It didn't sound like sincerity on that occasion from you, Brownlow medalist. However, play goes on. McIntyre's having his first kick. It's going to be a goal!
But
so Peter McIntyre, who just came off the bench, gets his first kick, and what a nice one.
not a bad way to get your first kick. Does this very well. Jamison caught up. Liptak the player to give it to him. McIntyre on his left, and watch his shepherd from Hodges. Did well.
And Ross, a good effort from a big man. He's obviously over 190 centimetres. So Adelaide 6-9, Footscray 8-4. We've got just under 5 minutes left in the second term. Bulldogs striving hard to protect their lead that they worked so hard to achieve in the first quarter. Wallace away to Hawkins. Hawkins has a look, then forced to kick high. Ball holding up in the breeze. Charles in front. Tasker a good punch. Footscray have got the numbers. Liberatore. In comes Corcoran. Oh, kick it quick, Steve. He did. McPherson, centre half forward. No one home. Smith's dropped another one. What's happened to Darren Smith? Hart there to help him out, and he does it pretty well. Up towards Hawkins and Liptak. Hawkins crunched to the ground. That could be a free kick.
Yes.
A little too severe there by Peter McIntyre.
Too high.
Hawkins, short passes on. It's effective. He finds Coleman. Coleman is between the centre and wing. So still maybe 3.5 kicks from goal. Drop punt kick to centre half forward. Charles, the ball comes through to the back. Opportunity for Grant. He's a good player, Chris Grant. He goes after it again. Maynard, Charles. Now the ball comes clear to McDermott from Tasker. McDermott's kicked back in towards the centre. No mark taken back there. Oh, Coleman's recovered pretty well from the marking contest. Wallace underneath. Baxter back to Coleman, and Coleman kicks Footscray towards centre half forward.
A long low kick, but the Dogs haven't got the numbers there at the moment. Bickley.
Oh no. Unnecessary there from Negri. He got Collingwood as he's coming around to chase Bickley, and he shepherded rather crudely. And Collingwood will receive the free kick.
Gee, they were away, Adelaide, too, weren't they?
Penalised your side badly there, Robbo, and there's a chance here for Footscray to score a goal.
Yes, they had the numbers. So Steve Collingwood kicking into the wind. In fact, he's just going to go short. Comes off the knee of Ballantyne and over the line. Throw in the Dogs' right forward pocket area. Just over 3 minutes remaining in this first quarter. The margin is 7 points, favouring Footscray. Atkins can't get a clear kick at it. McGuinness does it beautifully. Bickley again. Gets out of trouble nicely.
Advantage of pace there, Sandy.
Across to Lee. His kick is long and direct. Over the centre he goes. Wind. The big man does well. Gets it out. Ooh. He'll be knocked there.
Oh, goodness me. You know, you are allowed to use your head and shoulder. It's part of the game, is it not?
Play goes on there. It's Foster who gets it out to Tui. Bernard Tui has a bounce. Kicks well up towards McPherson, a fine kick. And Steve McPherson still just outside 50, but valuable seconds are ticking away for Footscray.
Too slow. He had two players just making position further afield.
Short to Hawkins. He's just picked it up. He's still outside the 50. The only man back in the square really was Negri before. Now they've dropped back. He's going to go short again. Smith got a hand to it but couldn't complete the mark. Atkins comes in and off the ground he goes into the pocket. Negri's got the height.
A few ironicals there, do you think?
Just a couple.
Well, what about his kick to Hart? Oh, he's under pressure. Corcoran comes in. Can't get away with it. Now Chris Grant to Atkins. Quickly kicks in towards full forward, and this time the mark is taken by Charles.
Well, wasn't Grant good, Ross?
Oh, clever. Look, he's been very good. Just his competitiveness, apart from his skill factor. That was a fairly fortuitous kick, I think, there from Simon Atkins. Just got the ball to boot very quickly, but the advantage of playing in front, and Charles will have a shot at goal.
This
looking for his second.
And this just to give the Dogs a bit of breathing space going into the long break. It's 7 points the margin at the moment, and he's now made it 13 points. And listen to that crowd.
Believe there was a goal scored, would you? It is incredible.
I think there'd be a roar in Melbourne. Yes. Just see this again. Grant chasing out here. Hart just set up there. Corcoran in there as well. Grant just pushing forward, very determined. Got away. Might have got a free kick there for a trip. Deliberately tried to be tripped there by Maynard. And the advantage of playing in front there with Justin Charles.
(6-9) plays 9-4. Bounce back in the centre. Winder's doing well in those centre ruck contests. Lee's kick first was smothered. Second was not smothered. Up to centre half forward. No mark taken. Ball punch clear towards the wing. Chance here for Baxter. His clever little kick across his body has found Corcoran between half back and centre wing. He kicks the ball towards half forward. Well done. The aid of the breeze just bringing it back and short for Coleman to run in and chest mark.
He's done pretty well too.
Floating kick to centre half forward. And being held out of the contest by Maynard was Grant. Colin-Uke looking for the advantage rule to be paid, but the ball will come back to Chris Grant.
Yes, Maynard was shepherding, waiting for Negri to take the mark.
Baxter just running to make position. He's nearly up to 50 metres. Colin-Uke run back. Take your opponent with you. No, Grant. It's on. It's dead set on for Baxter. Now it's shorter still, and McPherson is marked.
This will be the last kick of the half, unless he's very smart about it. Well, he's got to have a shot, and it's going to be a very big ask. He's going to be kicking from just inside 50.
He's had a few kicks. Not this is the last kick of the game, but McPherson's stole the game for Footscray on a couple of occasions over the years with some long kicks at goal.
Have to be a super kick though.
Oh, yes. The margin at the moment is a healthy 13 points, Footscray. Well, it is a good kick.
Yes.
For one behind. And so it is now 14 points. So at half-time, Footscray hold the lead. And at 9-5, 59, leading Adelaide 6-9-45.
And I think McGuinness is just holding a legacy of that heavy knock that Coleman put on him in that second quarter, Sandy. I watched him run straight off the ground very quickly and favouring his left arm.
Yes, well, we'll no doubt have a report on that from Max Stevens. Just repeating it, half-time here, though, at Football Park. Footscray holding Adelaide into the win, 9-5, leading the Crows 6-9.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Graham Bulldogs. Today is a very special day involving combined cooperation of many organisations, including the South Australian National Football League and our own Adelaide Canterbury Crows.
Today we have something a little bit different for you, but it's very important for South Australia and its thousands of sports fans.
As you know, Adelaide is ready to host the 1998 Commonwealth Games. We hope that in 6 years from now, the cream sporting talent from 67 nations will be walking into this stadium for the traditional opening ceremony.
And today we'd like you, the people of Adelaide, to welcome sporting dignitaries from 50 of those countries who arrived in Adelaide yesterday. Please give them a warm round of applause as they come onto the arena.
Firstly from Antigua and Barbuda. Bangladesh. Belize.
Half time here at Football Park, and the Bulldogs lead 9-5, 59. Holding Adelaide, kicking with the wind in that second quarter, although they booted 4 goals 6. Adelaide trail 6-9 45, so the margin is 14 points. Well, I'm quite sure all of you at work no doubt have done your sweeps for the year, and you're very anxious to know how your team's going to finish. The commentators too have put pen to paper to see what they thought about the top 15. All 12 commentators took part, and their figures were collated. This is what we came up with. The top 6, the West Coast, Hawthorn, Geelong, St Kilda, Collingwood and Adelaide. Just out of the 6, and by only 1 point after the collation was completed, was North Melbourne. Essendon, Carlton, Footscray, well, Bulldog fans might have something to say about that at this stage of the game today. Melbourne, Fitzroy, Richmond, Sydney and Brisbane. And it's interesting to, after seeing that, to have a look at the Tabaret odds, not only for the premiership, but also for the final 6. It'll be interesting to see just how they differ. Now, this for the premiership. The West Coast are 2-1 favourites to win their first flag. Hawthorn are 9-4. Third favourites, Geelong 7-2, and as you can see, as far as punters are concerned, they have a fair break. In fourth spot is Collingwood at 6-1, and right down at the bottom, the Brisbane Bears 1,000-1. To make the final 6, well, West Coast and Hawthorn deep in the red, so too Geelong, Collingwood and St Kilda, and Melbourne, North Melbourne just out of it 2-1. Essendon are at 6-4. And Carlton are at 7-4, with Brisbane, Sydney and Fitzroy all at reasonably generous odds. That is just to make the 6. Early days yet, we'll just have to see how it all unfolds. Well, if you haven't seen plays of the Foster's Cup, I suggest you sit back, relax and enjoy them now, because due to a special request from Mrs McKenna, we're going to show them to you again. And the Hawks are premiers for 1991.
What, do you mean to say that we've been camped here all this time waiting for the Foster's Cup to begin?
I'm afraid so, boys. And while you've been away, you may have missed Nigel Smart's attempt at firewalking. And while all clubs and umpires have put in a long, hard pre-season in anticipation of a prosperous 1992, have you ever wondered what our commentators do to keep in shape?
Oh, have a look. This is embarrassing, isn't it? Have a look. We've gone 10 metres and this idiot in the boat sunk it.
He's got 10 feet.
Oh, have a look at...
Oh, this is disgraceful.
That was Pete experiencing a somewhat sinking feeling. Pity this poor parachutist who almost ended up hanging on the point post at Lavington. To the mark of the Foster's Cup, and Supercat Gary Ablett rose high over Stuart Lowe to capture this beauty. But for Blue Beanpole Justin Madden, it wasn't so easy. Don't worry, Justin. Surely dropping a sitter isn't as embarrassing as capsizing a bathtub for the second time. Oh, not to worry, Pete. In the words of your own classic hit, smile all the while. And you still are. Two of the many surprises of the Foster's Cup was the demonstration of the new Olympic sport, synchronised goal umpiring. And, of course, the unveiling of Geelong's new summer Guernsey. Collingwood's Tony Francis tried his hardest to appear on camera. Or was that in camera? Stephen Tingay was on the receiving end of one of the clashes of the Foster's Cup, while Adrian Campbell stood his ground against the human bookends. And now a question that's been bothering Luke O'Sullivan for quite some time. Was Mil Hannah supposed to be playing full forward or full back. Ah, footy's back, and isn't it great? And look who else is back on terra firma. Hang on, Pete, here comes Don. Oh dear, knee deep in it, and we've only just begun. Isn't he one of the great water babies of all time? Pete, I'm sorry, I did not do the programming. Do not blame me. We'll take a break. Stay with us. Highlights of St Kilda and Essendon coming up shortly. We're in the Footscray rooms at the moment. It's half time here at Football Park. We'll take this word from Sean Tasker, have a break, and then be back.
Hi, this is Sean Tasker from the Adelaide Crows, and you're watching the AFL on 7.
$2 is directly donated to our team to represent Australia at Barcelona. President of the future Olympics and Commonwealth category. Carl Young, Leon Gregory. Leon represented athletics and was a member of the silver medal winning 4x400 metre relay team at the Melbourne Olympics of 1956. Also in the car rower, Simon Arkell. Simon is ranked in the top 10 pole vaulters in the world and was the Commodore Bank champion in Auckland in 1990. And James Cleveland and Alec Russell, members of the Eastern District's Little Athletics Club, possible future champions.
In the second vehicle on the oval today, we have Trevor Smith. Trevor was a member of the silver medal hockey team at the 1976 Olympics in Montreal. And with Trevor, Gareth Pratt from the Hamilton District Rugby Club and Georgina Edwards from the Eastern District's Little Athletics Club.
In car 3, Gavin Fredko. Gavin Fox, the 1984 Los Angeles bronze medal winning men days. At the same time, Michael Richmond, Michael represented Australia in 1980 as race captain, 1984 in Sarajevo, and 1988 in Calgary with the speed skater, and attended the 1992 Albertson Games at the Footscray Therapy. Angus Carrigan is also on the car, and he's the Little Athletic Club, and Samantha Byrne, the Little Athletic Club.
Car 4, Dean Lucas, who was gold medal winner in Los Angeles in the 1984 Games, 240 kilograms.
Well, we not only have a big game here at Football Park in South Australia, the other clash today in round one is at Waverley Park in Melbourne between St Kilda and Essendon. Before we check the half-time score of that game, let's have a look at some of the highlights from Waverley Park.
Gets it further afield, Robert Harvey. The Saints through Greg. Tackle on again, it's Fletcher, and the Saints go forward from the centre of the ground. Goes a bounce and then looks for Lockett on a lead and gets him. It's 45 metres out. These are normally bread and butter for the big man. He's got it. Oh, he's lost the run a bit to Harvey. Harvey caught. Bird, high
That's
tackle.
too high.
Should have been a free kick to Harvey. Far too high. Izzard, running player is Gary O'Donnell into an open goal and bang right through the middle. Good play, the Bombers. Mark Thompson doing well early. Onto the left foot, transfers play right out wide. Brendan Bauer, great play, running with the flight of the ball. He has a bounce, an open goal coming up onto the left foot. Bauer, terrific attempt, touched right on the line or not. No, it's a goal. And Winmar To the half-forward line, courage by Harvey, unlucky not to be paid the mark. Allen butters up on the left foot, brings it in towards goal. It's another goal to the Saints. Receiving from Pekin, this is Robert Harvey, in towards Lockett. Lockett at the back, gets a hand pass. Tony Lockett sprints into the open goal and slams it through for his third.
Saints by 5 points. G. Allen out of the ground, out of the air, then snaps for goal and kicks one.
Over the back, socket off the ground by Frankie Coughlin. Low, oh look at that, the strength. Winmar, danger here for Essendon as Winmar hooks it back. Oh brilliant goal by Winmar.
In the space, plays on. Must be called play on, he is. Dwyer not a wake up. Dick in the pocket and a good kick again by Thompson. He found kicker a moment ago, but this will take a very good kick. Drop punt, leans over it. Just kicked it all right. Kicked the goal.
Some of the highlights from Waverley Park in Victoria. Now, if you don't want to look at the halftime score, then look away, because we do have a replay situation of that game in Melbourne and Perth a little bit later on in the day. But here come the scores now. So Melbourne and Perth fans, highlights of that game a little bit later on in the day. So I hope you can stay with us for that. Looks like a very exciting game. Time now for more excitement. If you haven't seen it yet, let's now have a look at our football song for the year of 1992, simply entitled Ball Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4! You're going hard, you're playing fair. You grease your legs, you tinge your hair. Don't hand pass in the back line. Gotta put in before half time. Running twos, running threes. Kick long with the threes. Play in front, punch from behind. Everybody's got a man to mind. Oh. Yeah.
Actually, it's not often you see a player smiling as he brings down a screamer, but Drew Morfitt was then, and I think he still is. But sensational grab. We'll take a break. Back with more shortly.
Would you please welcome back the Adelaide Cavalry Crows?
Welcome back to Football Park. Both sides out on the ground for the second half. It's the Bulldogs who lead. For his half-time report, though, let's go down to the boundary line. Here's Max.
Thanks very much, Sandy. Well, both teams today very cooperative. We went into the Footscray rooms, and I can tell all Footscray followers watching our telecast a very, very good feeling, very relaxed. Terry Wheeler going around to each player and just having a quiet word to him. No panic, no shouting, ranting or raving, just a quiet word. He's told the players they have a job to do, they know what their job is, and also remember the one thing that's very important to this Footscray side, and they must remember that beating Adelaide at Football Park isn't an impossibility, and he wants to see that in the second half. Graham Corns, well, Graham very critical of some Adelaide Crow players not picking up their players, allowing Footscray Bulldogs to just run around and do what they want. And I think it'd be fair to say that Graham Corns and his coaching staff and the players have to do something about Doug Hawkins and Glenn Coleman. They're being allowed to run right, and they're two blokes that are doing a lot of damage and stopping Adelaide from getting back into this game.
Thank you, Max. Yes, it was, Ross, a very good defensive quarter by Footscray.
It was. They defended that 24-point lead from quarter time very well, and you look statistically there, they did it very well. And those 30 marks, 19 more than Adelaide in that quarter, just showed they moved the ball around very well, and Coleman certainly was a good focal point in attack. Justin Charles came in with a couple of goals, and he was good value. And overall, Footscray bottled up the midfield players of Adelaide very well.
Let's have a look at the match stats today.
Yes, and just ongoing there, of course, Adelaide having their share of the football, but they're just not as direct at the moment. And Hodges and Jamison, whilst Hodges has kicked a couple, Jamison's yet to get one on the board. They've been tidied up quite well. And Hawkins, as a spare man of defence in that second quarter, did it pretty well.
In fact, you mentioned Doug Hawkins. Let's now have a look at some of the individual performers. First up, Doug Hawkins. Robbo?
Yeah, well, Doug Hawkins in the first quarter kicked 3 goals and gave the Bulldogs a great start, but the second term was excellent. He drifted up and down the ground. He was started as a loose man in defence, but his second quarter was very, very good.
And Tregenza on his wing, always getting free, and that 6-2-8 possession for the quarter, a good one.
Steve McPherson has been very good for Footscray too, and I think more a statistic that doesn't show up with Steve McPherson, his aggression at the football and at the opposition is excellent.
Yes, he's done very well on Chris McDermott, and Bickley is the player coming up now for the Crows. His second quarter, good one as well, and he does give them some run off that half back line through the centre.
So the pressure right now on Footscray as we check Simon Atkins.
18 possessions, a very productive player in the middle of the ground for the Bulldogs.
Can the Dogs hold the Crows in this vital third quarter? It's Romano Negri who got the first touch of the quarter. At the bottom, as usual, is Liberatore across to Corcoran. He does well as he finds Wallace. Now they're kicking with the breeze in this quarter. They can open up a big lead if they're good enough. Hawkins couldn't quite hold the mark, but he does have plenty of support. This is Ballantyne. Short little chips intercepted. Negri. Big man is claimed, however, by Grant. Some solid work going in across that half-forward line. The umpire letting it go. McGuinness at the bottom, who did receive that heavy knock, but is back out on the ground. And so a bounce on half-forward. A very important quarter two for the Crows, because they've got to hold Footscray. They could see 4 points disappear very quickly if the Dogs can build up a big lead. Negri in front. Atkins couldn't take it. Sock it off the ground. Back towards the half-back line. Wallace chasing. May beat him over the line. It's very, very close. Corcoran is there as well. McDermott on his hammer. eventually spooned out the back door towards McGuinness. Liberatore just gives him a gentle little nudge and say that's out of bounds.
Liberatore's done a pretty good job on McGuinness. He's run with him well. Of course, that knock that McGuinness got from Coleman in the second quarter certainly took the wind out of him.
Klug and Hart on the boundary line for the Crows. Charles couldn't take it. Wiedemann having a run in this third quarter once again. So goes down to the forward line. Oh, an opportunity for Kolyanook. He slipped, but he still managed to get it to Atkins, who shoots in towards goal and pops through a very important one for the Dogs. So first goal in the third quarter to Footscray, going with the breeze. Simon Atkins gets his first, and they stretch that lead to 20 points.
Yes, Chris Grant just bring that ball back here, and you see Kolyanook just getting knocked over there by Valentine, I think it was, and Atkins, the player we saw with great stats, and he ran very well through the centre to finish off. Good start from Footscray in this quarter.
He's a good player, Simon Atkins. I think there's a lot of people believe that he's too slow, but the ability to read the play is excellent.
He gets the footy.
My word. And that was a great goal for Footscray at the start of the third quarter. Tui marks the kick from the centre of the ground. He's at centre half back. And I don't think Footscray had want to rest on their laurels. The game is still there to be won. Tui's kick wide to half forward, a little bit too far. Grant's able to get there and then knock it onto his own advantage. Hard up against the boundary line for a man 192 centimetres tall. He's a very good player and certainly a vital part of Footscray's future over the next 6 or 7 years. Free kick has been picked out of that ruck contest. It's going to Charles. He spotted someone further afield. Valentine, the pass a little too severe for him. Tregenza there to tidy up. Kicks it into a vacant space on centre wing. It'll be too short for McIntyre, who falls. In comes Stanfield. Crunch. Gets the handball away. And maybe in the circumstances, not a bad move. They'll have a boundary throw in just forward of centre wing in Footscray's forward half.
20 points is the margin, favouring the Dogs. Negri and Wine lock arms. Atkins got a touch. Could have almost interfered with McDermott. Liberatore again gets at the bottom of the pack and furrows it out to Kolyanook, who went very, very short to Coleman. Made it difficult for him, but he's got support. Charles shows agility. Good looking kick too, as the mark is taken by Corcoran directly in front. And Doug Hawkins saying now, hold it down and have a shot.
Well done by Charles there to square the footy. He could have gone out on his left side, and I think he had a player running up into the pocket, squared it off well.
This to make the margin 26 points. Kick looks pretty good and just shaves the post. Just shaves the post. So behind to Shane Corcoran.
I just wonder, I watched Darren Smith run after Coleman there as Corcoran had marked, and he just jog-trotted towards him. I wonder whether their attitude's quite spot on, Crows. They'll have to lift if they're going to snatch this game.
Shannon Corcoran, one behind. 6'9", plays 10-6. Well, the crowd's certainly shell-shocked. Eventually Lee goes to the outer side. It's effective, taken by Beckley. Long wants Maynard. Got a hand to it. He's going to get a free kick anyway. McPherson infringing. To the half-forward line. That breeze just as strong as it was at the start of the game. And the ball holding up. Hawkins, a free kick.
Yeah, there's some ticky touchwoods coming into it. Gee, how did they get on their own? Two of them.
Well, there's two of them there. Yes, the Crows, they don't look as sharp as they have in the past. Now, this is Ballantyne, who kicked a goal in the second quarter right on the boundary line. And he's going to be kicking from almost 50 metres. Let's see what he can do. He's a right footer.
It's a good kick.
Lovely looking kick into goal. I think that's a goal. John Ballantyne gets his second. That is a beauty. And Footscray go to 11-6. 11-6-72. The Adelaide Crows stunned at 6'9".
Yeah, it's a fine kick too from this area. And when you think about the form coming to this game of both sides, Footscray having lost their last two practice matches by something like 70 and 90 points respectively, and then you have the Crows coming off a pretty reasonable pre-season, it's certainly a big turnaround.
Well, I think Footscray have certainly opened up the third quarter in magnificent style. They've got the ball towards centre-half forward. In there is Wiedemann to defend for the Crows. McDermott over the top, he goes to Jamison. In turn to Marshall. The bounce is awkward for that player. Nearly scooped up magnificently by Corcoran, but he just couldn't quite control the football, and he takes it over for a boundary throw-in. Centre wing, out of side, 11-6 play, 6-9. Footscray doing it quite nicely in the early part of the third term. Now there's a chance for Jamison. Off the left side, kicks it towards half forward. Foster gets back. He's scragged there by Ingerson, and surely that is a free kick.
Yeah, he's pushed in the back, over the shoulder.
And allowed to play on a little bit too easily. Kicks it high, back in towards the centre. Marking contest. No one can control it. Wiedemann may have been interfered with. The fans think so. Gets it out to Marshall. Marshall's kick back towards centre-half forward, and there's a mark taken by Ingerson. At centre-half forward, about 55 metres from goal. The pass, not bad. Too far, though, for McIntyre. Or there could have been nearly a free kick to Campbell.
He's got one.
It's being paid, held when he didn't have the football. And maybe again, a little... well, it's there, I suppose. He's held when he hasn't got the ball, so that is a free kick in the rule book. Campbell in the right back pocket for the Bulldogs. Kicks it beautifully. He has kicked magnificently all day, Tony Campbell. And that ball has gone 100 metres towards the Footscray goal. Marshall getting back. Now, a free kick had been paid, but the advantage rule is applied, and Marshall kicks towards half forward. Hodges comes a long, long way down. Handballs to Brown, too slow. Chance now for Baxter. A quick handball. Away goes Stanfield, and the Bulldogs are up towards half forward. Hawkins, good hands, magnificent. Dougie Hawkins leading from the front, gets around the opposition. Forced to kick with the left. In towards centre half forward. Crows get back and mark it nicely through Smith.
Smith's kick up towards centre wing. Maynard takes it. Plays on. The Dogs continually putting pressure on the Crows, making it very difficult for them. They've got a chance here. It's with Matthew Liptak. He's booted one, but he's hit the post. Kicked one in the first quarter. They want goals, not behinds at the moment.
That's the best lead up they've had for a while too, Sandy. They're starting to get a bit of flow there.
They trail by 26 points.
Footscray has stifled the Adelaide Crows' run very well.
Campbell. Well, Liberatore's got a hectare on his own. Decides not to bounce, but take the kick up towards big Justin Charles, who's kicked straight into the crowd.
Well, the other thing that's shown up today, we just mentioned before, that the Crows looking a bit flat. Well, there's definitely a greater appetite amongst the Footscray players to get the footy. No question. So perhaps those couple of drubbings come into this game has done them the world of good.
Well, I think also they'd stated they'd set themselves to win the Foster's Cup, and a bit of disappointment.
Well, the coach put them on the hammer, didn't he?
Yep. So they're out to redeem themselves today, and at the moment they're doing it, but of course there's still a lot of football left in this game. 17.5 minutes remaining in this third quarter as recruit Bernard Toohey.
I think it's important that Adelaide don't go any further behind than they are now. If they're to have a chance, they need to be within about 6 goals at three-quarter time. But 2 more goals to Footscray in this term would certainly make it very difficult for the Crows.
Peter Foster, the fans don't like it. They thought it was a free kick against him, but he gives it to Wallace, who kicks in towards the centre, only to see the mark taken by Wiedemann. From the middle. He goes up towards McIntyre. No mark. Foster down in front once again, has an airy. Ball spills free. And we'll find ourselves having a bounce on the Crows' half-forward line. Graham Corns and his staff looking a little concerned at this stage, trailing 6-10 to 11-6. McPherson got a touch, but that was all. Brown working hard. Wallace held. No, said the umpire, as Matthew Liptak goes in over the top. Eventually it does come out, but not the way the Crows wanted. Corcoran gets a kick wide up towards centre wing. The only one there is David Marshall. Gets around Charles.
Down the field, Santa.
Yes, it was
very late.
A little too enthusiastic. And the bird had flown well and truly. Bickley. Off to Brown. Good key to goal, and they've got it. No, again. Yeah, they've shaved the posts on a couple of occasions.
It's amazing, isn't it? Centimetres in football. The goal.
It's a free kick, yep.
So rub that behind out. Free kick. Negri could have got into the back. Hodges tries to take it away, doing the roving from behind. McDermott gets the hand pass out. Here's an opportunity for the Crows as Jamison heads in towards full forward. But well done by Campbell. He kept his eye on the ball and again takes a solid mark.
Good kick
Going
again.
to the outer side. Kolyanook on his own. Again looks towards Charles on that outer side. Again, the boundary line beats him.
Probably could have handballed over the top to Stanfield then, Colin Newk, and just made it even further down the field. Right half forward for Footscray. I was just going to say, centimetres in football, they've had 2 posters, Adelaide, even though there was a free kick given in that last incident. A couple of centimetres the other way, they get a couple of goals, and all of a sudden there's only maybe 3 goals in it. Here's a chance for them here. McGuinness having a good look. He's had 3 bounces, kicks it into the left forward pocket, but good work by Scott Wine. Plays on, handball over the top. Footscray playing very positive, confident football. Wallace to Stanfield. Stanfield's kick is sloppy. There wasn't a lot of pressure on him there, and he wasn't able to keep it in the field of play, so a free kick to be taken back at half back by Maynard. Maynard, well, he's come up more towards the wing, so that ball floating with the breeze. So is that. And Wine nearly takes a good mark. Liberatore a little flip out to Wallace. Trying to get it across there was Baxter. Eventually Tui. Liberatore gets past Jamison. Hasn't he got great strength in his little body, Tony Liberatore. The kick across towards centre half forward. Valentine just fumbles, but he's able to get his left foot to it nicely. Chance for Footscray still. Colin Newk goes after it. Now there's a battle royal on between Wiedemann and Grant. Grant still got the footy, held but he didn't have it. Tregenza, it's a free kick, is it?
Yes, it is, for holding on.
And Grant will take it 50 metres from goal. Colin Newk, no, it surely is Grant's kick.
Yeah, it's going to be Grant.
Grant from 50 metres. Some big man must get into the square because short passing into the left pocket will make the angle even more difficult than Chris Grant has at the moment.
There's Coleman Herjun, he's on his way down there.
Charles in there too. Oh, Coleman giving Smith something to think about. But Grant kicks it long, high, and into the square. No mark taken. Crows will get clear. This time it's Brown. Little pass finds McDermott. They may make something out of this. No, McDermott stops. There's no one to give it to.
He had nowhere to go.
Call to play on now.
Still no one to give it to, but he handballs to Jamison. Jamison from the 2-metre start. Kicks it to centre half forward. Marking contest back there. Foster's beaten for it. Through goes Hodges. He strives very hard to knock it forward. McIntyre. No, free kick to the Adelaide side. Ingerson will take it, being held when he didn't have possession of the ball.
Yes. Been pretty sharp on that, the umpires today. Just little niggles behind the play. And there was definitely a free kick there. And they've got to pay those all the time. You just can't pick out 1 or 2. A very important kick here too for McIntyre. He has one already in that second quarter.
He runs close to the man on the mark and hooks the kick as well as the breeze affecting it, and it's through for a behind. So McIntyre 1 goal 1. Adelaide 6-11, Footscray 11-6. Equal number of scoring shots, but the Bulldogs have been far more successful with their accuracy. Baxter marks the kick in.
He's at half back.
Liberatore on his own this near side.
They tend to hug that outer side of this ground. Justin Charles got up high in front, couldn't take it. McIntyre through strongly but goes to ground. Atkins in quickly over the top, and it's Atkins in fact who farms it out, but straight to Marshall. He's well tackled, and we'll find ourselves with a bounce on centre wing.
They've been very good close in, Footscray. Been able to man up very well.
Would not be unhappy with his team's performance at the moment. Wine and Negri lock arms. Atkins hammers at 25 metres. Coleman picks it up like a youngster. Ballantyne couldn't quite take it. Lee across to Marshall. David Marshall, a little bit of time. Kicks wide. Hodges is down on the half-back flank, and he's taken the mark. Goes towards centre wing. He wants Negri, but he's not in front. Bernard too, he is. Back to half forward once again. Charles could have been edged out of it by Smith, but the mark was paid at the back of the pack to Marshall. Negri in front, couldn't take it. Crowd say should have been free kick. Umpire says no. Foster at the bottom. Gives it away to Tui. Kick is partly smothered. Tui goes back to try and make amends. McDermott gets in, however. Here's Bickley. Towards full forward, McIntyre, Campbell. It's the latter who hammers it away, straight to Tregenza. A little chip round his body. McGuinness unable to take it on the half volley. Ball spills free to Wallace. McPherson gives him some shepherding. Foster, swing round onto the left foot. And Footscray out of trouble, up towards centre wing.
Yes,
and
there's
Charles.
a little push there by Smith. Wiedemann's able to give him a hand. Tries to struck the tackle, successfully does so on Liberatore, and then kicks the ball to centre half forward. Footscray have done well across half back. This time the kick is by Brown up towards the full forward area. It was Liptak actually. Now a free kick is picked out of it, and it's going to Footscray. A push in the back. The Adelaide Crows supporters not very happy. It's Stanfield, and he goes to that far side. Player making position out there is Corcoran. He plays on and kicks it. No one home there for Footscray. Kicked it straight to Negri. Handball is a shocker. Absolute shocker, and will let Footscray in. Colin takes it away from Liberatore. May go for the long one. He does. Kicks it very long, but inaccurately, and scores a behind for the Bulldogs.
Negri's glad about that.
Well, the handball was good if the player was standing still, but he was running. He handballed to where the player had run from, rather to where he was.
Lee to kick it in. Decides to go straight up the ground. Chance here. No, he's got to sit and wait, Tasker, but he does it pretty well and marks nicely. Away to Liptak. Liptak hooks his kick into the defensive pocket as far as the Crows are concerned. Streaming down the ground with Stanfield. The hand pass wasn't bad. It's got the ball to Coleman. A shepherd on Maynard gives Baxter the chance to run beautifully through half forward. Kicks it in towards full forward. Making position and nearly taking the mark was Grant. It's been paid.
I've got to pay that.
Fair, was it, Ross?
Yes, very fair.
Well, Chris Grant, he certainly is a focal point for the Bulldogs on that full forward and centre half forward line.
To see this again, didn't quite catch it all, but as it was, I would have paid that.
Adelaide supporters obviously think he's a little fortunate.
Oh, they would.
And they've had a lot of good fortune from that pocket, Footscray, with their goal kicking, and they've got another one from that right pocket. Chris Grant gets his first goal, and the Footscray side get a very important 12th goal because they now lead 12-7 to 6-11. The difference is 32 points.
Well, the height, in fact, that I thought would be the disadvantage to Footscray, in fact, has worked out very well. Grant, Coleman, Charles, those players have done it very well, and Grant holding down centre half forward along with Coleman have been good focal points.
(12-7) plays 6-11. Footscray looking the goods at the moment. Negri goes over the back. That was a clever tap to Liptak, however. Loses it. The Dogs down towards half forward, and a strong mark taken again by Hawkins.
Sandy, what about Foster's smother?
I was going to say exactly right. It was perfect smother.
Sorry, Ross, I chipped in there, but gee, it was great stuff by Foster.
And now he's got his captain having a shot at goal.
He's kicked 3.
Yes.
All in that first quarter. It's the Norman Lubbock Choir. Here's Hawkins. Another long kick, but he's gone for the distance, and he's gone wide to the left and just sneaking it in from behind. But they all count at this stage.
Another goal against no goals for Adelaide in the rest of the quarter, and oh gee, they're going to have a job.
Oh, they've got a job at the moment.
My word. Actually, Footscray would be stiff because they've controlled the game from the start, haven't they?
Jamison goes up towards centre wing. Bickley. Played by Baxter as he charges through and he kicks to Ballantyne, who marks. Well, now let's see what he can do here. He's going from 50 short. It's effective to Coleman, who did think about running on, but only for a split second.
So what happened there, all the Crows runners from the half-back line, Maynard and Smith had run down, trying to make play, and left their Footscray forwards standing still.
Which is better, Ross? Glenn Coleman running on from the mark or going back to have a set shot?
I think going back to have a set shot.
Let's see what he can do. He's swung it to the right, or has it just snuck it home? No, one behind. A couple of his teammates tried to con the umpire there, but it didn't work. Well, you got to try anything. 12-9 plays 6-11, but it's 81-47.
And gee, that's a sign that you're not going too well when the fullback doesn't know where to kick it into. This time he decides to go to that defensive side. Negri has made good position and takes a good mark. His hand pass again puts McDermott under pressure. They're still in trouble. Footscray got a chance at centre-half forward. Corcoran, good pressure. Liberatore in there. No, holding the man against Shannon Corcoran maybe. And a free kick will go to Maynard. He handballs away to Marshall. Marshall's left foot kick is pretty good. No, it's not. Stanfield chips in and marks right on the wing.
Yes, McDermott had to wait for the footy to come to him.
Gee, they've got all the answers, the Bulldogs, so far. Stanfield's kick to centre-half forward. Punched away by Tasker. Atkins, great handball. Brilliant vision. Charles, away to Grant into an open goal, and Chris Grant has hit the post. I'll tell you what, they're playing brilliant football, Footscray. And they lead by 35 points. 12-10 to 6-11.
That quick interception there by Stanfield did very well and had a shot at goal.
Crows have kicked only 2 behinds for the quarter. Negri is coming off. Klug is about to come back onto the ground. The ball is with David Brown. They want a couple of quick goals in the last 6 minutes of this quarter. Atkins again, he shovels it out. Oh, Corcoran spins nicely out of trouble. Back to Atkins again, who pumps it high up towards the half-forward line. Over the back it goes. No one at home. Smith should be able to clear. Oh, he stops with a hand pass that puts Marshall under pressure, and this could result in a goal because Coleman on the run is dangerous. Wants Hawkins. It goes over the back, and it's a free kick this time against Hawkins.
Yes, Scott Lee was interfered with by Hawkins, just dragged down.
Well, the umpire's called play on sensibly, so one would suggest that the players get on with the job, don't worry about the brawling. McDermott has it in the middle. Tui making sure he's going nowhere fast. He's got Maynard wide. Could get it at the back. Just a little too far underneath it. Working hard lip tap. And there's going to be free kick. Hodges in the pack. Couldn't take it. Shannon Corcoran just waits down and glides away. Goes to centre wing. Coleman up against Marshall. Well, a clever tap back by Glenn Coleman. Off to Corcoran, and he stabs it beautifully. They're playing very good football at the moment. And this is Justin Charles. That kick is not so good, but it may give Atkins the opportunity. He's on his own. He'll have to kick with the left foot. And he does it beautifully.
Clever.
He does it beautifully. There's another one of the Dogs.
And with that 13th goal by Atkins for Footscray, his second for the quarter, a very crucial kick that. He's been such a very good player today, Atkins. And here just doing well with Lee and Hawkins clashing for the footy on his left foot there. Very deliberate shot at goal.
I used to think it was quiet when South Australia or West Australia scored a goal in State of Origin football, but this gives new meaning to silence over here, Robbo.
It's incredible stuff, Sandy. South Australia, they're certainly a partisan crowd, but
this is where they're breaking down, Robbo, across half forward. They've not had anyone really. Ingerson's tried hard, but he's had no support.
Oh, they've been fantastic, Footscray, all over the ground, but you've spotted that. Their half-back line has been a rock of Gibraltar. Now this kick goes towards the full forward area. Ballantyne just striving very, very hard. It's very important that every player gives, you know, even when the opposition have got the ball, they've got to concentrate on where their opponent is.
That's right, and when they're breaking down there, they're running players like McGuinness and Brown just haven't been able to break free. They've been well held, so they've got no one to run past to pick up crumb gathering.
And they'll be struggling now with Negri off the ground. He's done a couple of ordinary things, but gee whiz, they're picking those Footscray jumpers out quite nicely with their kicks.
Coleman's having a field day.
My word. Bernie Quinlan giving votes for the Channel 7 award wouldn't have too much difficulty at this stage. Grant beaten for the ball. Tasker runs away and hand passes to Tregenza. Tregenza's kick is good. Gives the chance now for Maynard. The bounce is favourable for him. Smith could have nearly run on and created the hand pass target, which he does in the finish. Back to Maynard. Now, what can they do with this? Away to Klug. Klug from outside 50. Short kick. Ingerson wasn't really awake up to it. Runs onto the footy, but Footscray with strength will get clear. A long kick by McPherson goes back towards half forward where Grant is marked, and Footscray seem to have about 23 players on the ground, and that's usually the sign that you're dominating the game, and that's exactly what's happening. Wallace, short kick, and Ballantyne doesn't quite mark. Ben Hart putting good pressure on, and McGuinness comes in to give him a hand and knock the ball over for boundary throw-in.
And Klug's kick there, perhaps an indication of the finesse that they may have played with last year. But in fact, the short kick was okay if he had gone down the ground, because he had two players running onto the footy, but going across the ground like that's just not on.
Boundary throw-in. Liberatore working overtime, and the umpire calling for a bounce. Just giving the boys a few instructions to maybe settle down. It's a very warm day, and tempers shortened a little bit. Charles can't get at the ruck contest. Brown can. Can he run away? Charles, good work. Put some pressure on and kicked it back into the centre where Stanfield marks. Plays on quickly. Short pass is effective. Baxter is marked, and that could nearly be. No, it's not. I thought maybe.
Yeah, well, Scott Lee, I think, was thinking that Baxter was going to play on, because he had a play in front going to run past and kill it.
50 metres would have made a certainty of it. Ballantyne and young Hart having a dust up back near the goal square, and the umpire not really interested in having a look at it, but Baxter will shoot. He'll probably get the distance from here. Oh, he does it easily. Hooks the kick, and it's through for one behind. But still, the ball is down in Footscray's scoring zone. They lead 13-11 to 6-11, so they've got a 7-goal buffer. We've got just over a minute left in the third term.
And when Adelaide did have the breeze, they kicked 4 goals. So they're trailing by 7 at the moment. They desperately want a couple to close the gap before the final term. Bickley goes long and low up towards the half-forward line. It clean bowls Hodges. At the back, tidying up is Campbell. Oh, but good persistence by Anthony Ingerson. Puts him under pressure. Now Foster is feeling that pressure. Close to the boundary line. They've got the numbers now. He's lost
into that by the crowd.
If the tackle causes the ball to fall free, it's play on.
Just the roar of the crowd then.
The ball falls free, play on.
And that was when the whistle, the ball had been touched by 2 or 3 players, and then the whistle sounded. The kick, a centering kick. Wiedemann loses it. Atkins works hard. Oh, he goes for a little soccer off the ground, but goes straight to Tregenza, who pulls it back in towards full forward, over the head of Hodges, over the head of Wallace. Kept in, however, to Hodges. He's got to defeat 3 Footscray players. Can't do it. Campbell has it and goes straight to Coleman. Glenn Coleman has picked up a ton of kicks this quarter. There's the siren to end another very good quarter by Footscray. Stunned silence here at Football Park. Footscray 13-11, 89, leading Adelaide 6-11, 47. Three-quarter time here at Football Park, and Footscray doing it well, kicking 4-6 with the breeze in the third quarter. Adelaide 2 points into it, 13-11-89. The Dogs, the Crows, are 6-11-47. The other big game on today is at Waverley Park. We'll show you quarter-by-quarter scores of that game to date now, but if you don't want to see them because of a replay coming up a little bit later on, then go and put the kettle on. Just a reminder that Melbourne and Perth viewers, a replay of the St Kilda-Essendon game will follow this game at Football Park. Graham Corns has been very busy. We'll take a break and then return.
And just a reminder, as part of the Foodland House Advisor promotion, we're giving $100 shopping vouchers to 5 persons who are in possession of a visor, which is one of the following lucky numbers.
Both teams have broken up after their three-quarter time addresses. Let's go down to the boundary line. Max Stevens. Max.
Sandy, Terry Wheeler wants his side to move into overdrive, get the four-wheel drive going. Only 30 minutes to go. He's told them that they've dominated this match so far, and all they've got to do is work out that final 30 minutes, particularly the defenders. They've got to hold Adelaide out, as Adelaide has the advantage of that 2 to 3 goal breeze. Now, the main thing he's pushing, he pushed it at half-time, is that Adelaide can be beaten on their home ground and they can go back to the Western Oval, Footscray, with a round 1 victory. Adelaide, well, Adelaide are in more trouble than the first settlers, and as someone suggested to me, they've had trouble finding the plot, let alone lose it.
All right, a quick look at the stats, gentlemen.
Yeah, dominating there. They've increased their lead in the kicks, not needing to handball as much because their foot disposal has been very good.
Actually, there's a free kick stat there that I don't think the Adelaide fans would agree with. They've had more free kicks than Footscray.
Oh, well, here we go into the final quarter. The big question is, can the home side come back? Negri is back on the ground. McDermott looks for the first kick of the final quarter. He doesn't get it. Atkins is at the bottom as well, and another bounce. Well, they've got to kick a minimum of 7 goals in this quarter, and they have kicked only 6 in the first 3, so it's a big ask.
Yes, I think that's a very important statistic too, Sandy, that they just haven't been able to kick enough goals.
Atkins, somehow he gets that handball out of the middle towards Shannon Corcoran, who's done pretty well. Off he goes to Kolyanook, who goes down towards full forward. In fact, goes over the top of both Ballantyne and Hart. Across the ground, Tasker. Sockers again towards Tregenza. Can't take it cleanly. McPherson comes in to meet him. Goes round his body with a short kick that was touched. It's going to still be kept in play. No, Nigel Kellett eventually over the line in the left forward pocket. Well, I would imagine Graham Corns, who was looking for an undefeated run here at Football Park this season, will be bitterly disappointed with this performance if they fail to come back.
Yeah, it's always important to get away to a good start in a season. They play 3 of their first 5 at home too, Sandy, so it's important they do win here.
Wiedemann pumps it long, but no one at home again, and Wine takes an easy mark. Peter Foster, celebrating his 150th, will be happy just to get a win. Atkins' hand pass is smothered, but luck's of fortune, it goes straight to Wine. Back to half forward once again. Grant has had a sensational day. Gets the ball out, but into a lot of Crows players. McDermott runs into one, but still gets his kick, but therein lies the story of the day.
How many times have they kicked their Footscray players who are on their own? This guy's played a terrific game. Wind in the ruck has been fantastic. He's just made a few gaps for the smaller players. He's been good at centre bounces, and he's created a lot of chances for all players over the ground. Wallace up towards half forward. No mark. Through comes young Hart. Just controls the footy, then gets his foot to it and kicks it long. Back towards half back, but Hawkins
Gee whiz, if you can read the play, Ross, you can be a very good player, loose in defence, can't you?
Oh, my word.
Kick goes wide where McPherson marks. Hand passes to Kellett. Kellett up to full forward. Oh, hard, a big leap. That could have nearly been a free kick. No. Maynard. Short pass. Tregenza. Short again. No mark to Lee. Now he runs away and kicks it long towards half forward. Running onto it is lip tap. And he marks outside 50 metres. He's about 60 metres from goal. The fans screaming for a quick goal in the last term for the Crows. Up towards full forward. Hodges punches from behind and at least gets a score for the Crows, which is a rush behind. Footscray bench there. Young Sexton and Smith. Sexton, who has played no part in the game as yet. So Footscray have done well with their 18, or their original 18 on the field. The kick in, good mark taken by Klug. Maybe a little too far out to score, but they certainly need a goal to give them some sort of impetus. He's kicking it long to the front of the goal square. Wind, can't mark. Crumbs gathered by Hawkins. Slips the tackle from Hodges. Wind, a quick kick close to the boundary line. Ingerson gets past Tui and kicks in short. Hawkins, his third mark in the last 90 seconds.
He's had a field day today, Dougie. Started off on the right foot, booting 3 goals. Now come out for his 17th kick. And a good one too. That defensive outer side. But a good mark to Ingerson. Very good mark to Anthony Ingerson. Pumps the Crows back in towards Hodges' territory once again. He can't take the mark. They want goals and they want them desperately if they're to have any hope. Footscray defence. He stood up pretty well. McPherson held it too long, however, on this occasion and lost it.
Yes, had the opportunity to get rid of the footy on the first occasion. Chose to try and elude the man coming at him and got pinged.
Just a little risky, Ross, but you've got to give him credit for trying to make the play.
McPherson?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, he tried to get away and create for a player downfield, so he pays the penalty there.
Hart directly in front. 25 metres out, puts it straight through the middle. Darryl Hart gets his first, and a much-needed one for the Crows. They move to 7-12, trailing the Dogs 13-11.
Yes, well, he sat on the bench for a term in that third quarter, and he's come onto the ground. And we see here, again, McPherson got in there, tried to create the play, as Robbo said, trying to get away and clear the ball out of defence, but got pinged.
He's a goal scorer, at least, Darryl Hart, so I suppose the advantage to have him on the ground. Now the crowd starting to chant, trying to give their team some support. Tasker, handball, Tregenza loves to run with the footy, one bounce, will set it up. Lovely long kick into the forward line. No, good mark to Stanfield. Has to be paid, man in front. Come on, Adelaide fans. Be fair dinkum. A great mark to the defender. Wallace in the back pocket. Runs away and kicks it towards centre wing. It will bounce just inside and eventually goes over. And maybe that was to Footscray's advantage. Marshall just about to pounce on it.
And that kicked Robbo from Tregenza into that forward line. Didn't kick far enough left to give his forward a chance. He sat it up in the middle of the ground and it moved to the left-hand side.
Liberatore working overtime at the bottom of the pack. So is Atkins. Handball back. McPherson. The kick is smothered. Nowhere for Liptap to go. McDermott over the top. Gives Klug the chance. Klug, a flying shot at goal. Goes high into the pocket. Punched away from Hodges by Campbell. And Campbell has done a pretty good job back there for Footscray.
Yeah, good smother too by Mark Bickley.
Campbell with the Peter Norman gloves on. And in the right forward pocket for Adelaide. They desperately need a score. There's been a shepherding incident against Scott Wine in the ruck contest, so he will take the free kick in the back pocket. Doesn't mind if he takes precious seconds to kick this ball out, and he does, about 45 metres out towards half-back. No mark taken. Picked off by Kellett. Kellett's quick kick goes back to a vacant wing. Getting back as Maynard. Bounce a little awkward for him. Handball awkward for Smith. Smith back over the top. Tregenza can run. Oh, down he goes. That's a free kick, surely.
Yep.
And Tregenza will kick Adelaide to within scoring distance. He gets around and kicks it high and long. In towards centre half forward. No mark taken. Footscray there. No, Darryl Hart picks it off beautifully. Maynard, lovely little handball to Bickley, and Bickley kicks the goal. First goal to Mark Bickley. And now there's a bit of sound around the football park in Adelaide. The Crows supporters have come to life, Ross.
Yes, they certainly have, and that's the sort of run they haven't had. Mark Bickley's provided that here. Hard again featuring the play. And the voice from Bickley was heard by Maynard, and a very sharp handball give his teammate a ping at goal.
Crows fans really giving their side support now. 2 goals, but they want a lot more yet. Well, Wiedemann pumps them into attack once again, down towards the half-forward line. Hart couldn't take the bouncing ball at the first attempt, and he's claimed the second. Ball held, will have a bounce. And just on 18 minutes remaining. Well, time if they're good enough.
Yes, I think they just have to hold Footscray. I mean, if Footscray kick a goal, it'll just break them down a bit, maybe.
Just in the Crows' attacking zone. Just getting a kick. Tui goes to ground, and he'll get a free kick. The advantage is going to be paid. Livers away. It's a lovely kick too. Ballantyne marks. This will test his distance.
This could be it, Robbo. This is the one if they get.
Yeah.
Could break the back a bit.
Well, it sometimes happens, Ross, doesn't it?
Oh,
you know,
my word.
When you get a flow on,
yep.
The opposition can just get through like that. It was probably a little questionable about whether Liberatore could play on.
Yeah, I think it should have come back, actually.
Ballantyne has kicked 2 goals. 1 in the second, 1 in the third. He's kicking into the breeze from 50 metres. It won't make the distance. Look at it hold up now. Charles, Coleman. And he takes a big mark.
Isn't there a deathly silence too?
Absolute silence.
It was a fine mark in that pack. It really was. Everyone else having a run at it, and Coleman just stood his ground very well.
He's had a very good day, Glenn Coleman.
He's been a good recruit for Footscray, hasn't he?
My word. Here he goes. Let's see what he could do, because it could be the death knell. It is a goal. Glenn Coleman stops the brief run from the Crows by scoring his first goal, but more importantly, Footscray's 14th. They are 14-11, leading Adelaide 8-12.
We watched this, the kick coming in nice and deep, sitting up in the breeze there, and Coleman just standing his ground very well, ended up taking the mark on his chest, ran around for the kick too, gave himself some room, and did it very well.
Yeah, it's been another good, strong player at centre forward, hasn't he?
And he's been good around the ground too, Robbo.
Bounce back in the centre. It favours the Crows, but they can't break clear. Now they can, through Wiedemann. He kicks it quickly towards half forward. No mark, but very well done by Steve Wallace, knocking it down in front.
No, free kick.
Down to Hart. Holding on. Surely it wasn't against Wallace, was it?
I was watching McDermott's in a bit of trouble down the back of the ground here. I just saw the umpire hold his jumper to indicate it was holding on infringement. McDermott just copped one on in the groin, I think.
Thought Wallace did pretty well to knock it down in front because his teammate was there, but Hart has the free kick. 50 metres from goal. Not a bad kick, but it doesn't come back. Oh, nearly a mark there to Ingerson. And he's had an ordinary day, Anthony Ingerson. He's learnt what it's all about, because Peter Foster hasn't really given him much room at all.
No, he's presented himself okay, but he's tended to play a bit from behind. He hasn't learnt to get in front, but he's mobile enough, and will certainly stand him in good stead, Robbo. No question about that.
Well, you really have to have the experience, and I'm sure time will improve him. Negri can't mark. Wine. Scott Lee under a little bit of pressure. Can't quite hook the kick far enough, and it goes out of bounds on the full in that right forward pocket for the Crows. The free kick to be taken back there by Hawkins, who's enjoyed his day here in Adelaide, I'm sure.
Well, he's played at one end of the ground basically the whole game,
and been quite magnificent for Footscray as captain. Set them alight in the first term, kicking 3 goals, and has picked up something like 20 possessions plus in the game so far this afternoon. There's another man who's worked overtime, Atkins. He's still got it. Now Bickley, handball wide. Lee on the wing, kicks it towards the 50-metre line.
Guess
but back
who?
there, have a look. Uncle Dougie. He's at a party. Hawkins, short kick, finds Baxter.
He doesn't mind a party, Doug, either.
Baxter too, particularly in the first half, did extremely well, picking up kicks at will. Goes back towards centre wing. It's going to be a dog day afternoon here at Football Park this afternoon, particularly for the Crows, because the Bulldogs are going to start off with 4 premiership points. It's just what they wanted. Foster defends from behind, pushing down to Wine, gets the hand pass off to McPherson, kicks blindly but wide, and gains probably 55 metres. A clever kick actually, and Glenn Coleman sees it over the line.
He's been a good contributor too, McPherson.
It's going to be hard to give votes, I think, because they've had quite a few good players all over the ground, haven't they?
Share it quite easily.
Yes, that a free kick was picked up there and not out of bounds, and it's going to go the way of Atkins. A little mystifying there. Nevertheless, Atkins has it. He kicks to half forward, but only as far as Wiedemann, drifted across the back of the pack. McDermott appears to be okay after that knock. From a standing start, pumps it high and long. Oh, and a clever mark. Good mark taken by Foster, who appeared to hurt his back in that encounter, but he's okay. They've got possession, and that's the main thing.
Oh, they shared the ball beautifully.
Keller over the boundary line. And Steve Kolyaniuk, he kicked a goal in the first quarter. Sees it over.
It's been their preparedness to run far more than the Crows have that's made them players present themselves and given their players downfield a target to kick to.
And I'll tell you what, a sight you very rarely see here.
People leaving?
People leaving with still 13.5 minutes to go. No mark taken. Well, the Bulldogs have shown far more desperation today. There's a sweeping hand pass comes from Jamison. Here's a chance for Hart. But there's the classic example of the determination. It comes back with Hodges. He's flat as he gets his kick and tucks through for one behind.
Ross, you mentioned, I think, in the second term about close-in tactics about Footscray. They've been very, very good, haven't they?
Just hustling and bustling because they've been prepared, Robert, to man up. And in doing so, they've always had 1 or 2 players at a contest to assist their teammate, which gives them an option. They've been very good at that. Very strong in the body. They kept their feet very well. They've just been prepared to have a go.
Clever play by Grant on that occasion to sneak it out the back door to McPherson, onto Atkins. Dogs are playing like millionaires at the moment. Kolyaniuk couldn't take it. It comes off the boot, down and towards goal, and Wiedemann sees it over the line.
If the Atkins kick had been a proper drop punt, I'm sure Kolyaniuk would have run right onto that, wouldn't he?
My word.
14-12, plays 8-14. Graham Corns a shake of the head. Says, well, boys, back to the drawing board. That's what it's going to be. McDermott, he gets claimed by Little Libber. It's like a terrier.
I'd love to see what he can bench press for, the man his size. I reckon he'd be
pound for pound, he's probably the strongest in the league.
I'd agree with that.
Negri and Wine. Wine recovers well. Down towards Charles. Doesn't get a good bounce. Smith just tries some soccer tactics short to Wiedemann. Cannot pick up the football, and Liberatore again at the bottom of the pack.
That's something in respect to Barry Cable, for instance, who was so very strong in the upper body. For a player of his size, he's one of the best tacklers ever to have played the game, because he's just prepared to put in with weights to get them not for size but just for sheer strength.
And so you have to take your hat off to guys like that work so hard on the other parts of their game. Footscray go into attack once again, but young Hart knocked it away. Nearly running onto it was Kolyaniuk. Wiedemann slung off the ball.
He will this time.
Now Kolyaniuk, left foot shot, pops it around and kicks another goal for Footscray. Kolyaniuk gets his second goal, and Footscray go marching on, and there are more fans leaving now, because that certainly will be the end for Adelaide. Footscray now 15-12, leading Adelaide 8-14.
And just a bit harsh here. Watch Wiedemann. He picks up the footy. He had 2 handball options here. Out the back to a couple of teammates, elected to try and kick, got tackled and got very heavily penalised.
Well, Crow fans are leaving in their droves after that last goal.
You could have sworn the siren's gone.
You would think so. They've gone into attack on this occasion, but it's Bernard Toohey who repels it once again, gives it across to Hawkins, who's had a day he'll remember for a long time to come. He's been fantastic, the Hawk. To the half-forward line. Grant also has been a very solid performer. Smith can't pick up the football. Liberatore at the bottom of the pack. He gets crunched, but he still goes. Fantastic. Eventually it's Bickley who comes away, but he does well. To the half-forward line he goes. No mark taken. Foster takes the hand pass from Tui. McPherson sees it bounce towards the boundary line on the half-back line. The only one there to assist is Hawkins, but it's a tired Klug that chases. To centre wing, Atkins sets himself and takes the mark just inside the line.
Tell you what, if there were 35,000 people here, there'll only be 15 by the time the siren sounds.
Actually, you look through this Footscray team, they've all played well today. It's been a great team performance.
My word, I agree, yes, Sandy.
Charles, the meat in the sandwich on that occasion. Kellett picks it up. It's a hurried left foot kick. Gains 25 metres, which is good football.
Yes, it's been their persistence, hasn't it? Just preparedness to accept that, you know, by working and working, gaining metres and metres, that someone's going to be there at the finish. It's been a terrific team performance.
I'll tell you what, they've got St Kilda next week. That's going to be a very big and interesting game.
Negri coming off, Sandy too, McIntyre on, and Sexton player ready to come on for Footscray.
McGuinness hasn't been the same player since that heavy knock. Jamison, centering kick to half forward. Wine in front, hammered away however by Hodges, but Footscray defence just tidy up. McPherson, Hawkins, Baxter, they've been solid as a rock. Could have been a little nudge there from Charles. Play goes on. Wiedemann spread eagles himself backwards. Well, perhaps he was tugged on the Guernsey. Wayne Wiedemann goes across the centre. Up towards half forward. Wine drifts across the front, but it's McIntyre who read it well, and he takes the mark.
Well, McIntyre could easily score from here. We've gone past the 9-minute mark left in the match. 15-12 plays 8-14. I don't think there'll be any doubt about the result. The attendance 40,381 as McIntyre's shot misses to the left, so it's another behind to Adelaide. 8-15 plays 15-12. Tony Campbell, who has done a pretty good job back there at full-back for Footscray. Wallace marks the kick in, and that short kick is all right too. It finds Tui. Handball over the top. Kellett, promising young player Nigel Kellett, has been around Footscray for 2 or 3 years now, and the Bulldogs will be looking for him to play regular games across that centre line. Wiedemann's kick in towards full forward. Wallace went hard at it. Foster there, taken away from him by Liptak. Little kick off the ground, inside 50. Hawkins, a little tap over, and does it pretty well. Campbell, the handball smothered. McIntyre going nowhere. Still a chance for the Adelaide side. McGuinness has ridden into the ground, and he'll take the free kick, and the Footscray players are just absolutely ropeable.
Definite free kick. In fact, he almost got legged before he had the footy in the first place. Just see this. There's the leg. Liberatore has him, and definitely the back from McPherson, and then Campbell over the top again.
He's got to make sure he was going nowhere.
He was right on the bottom, wasn't he? With the two big fellas there, Campbell and McPherson. But McGuinness has the free kick about 25 metres out, and Baxter has been replaced on the ground by young Smith. Darren Baxter earned his pay packet today, I'm sure. McGuinness, shot for goal, and he puts it through for a belated Adelaide goal. 2 goals to McGuinness. Adelaide 9-15, Footscray 15-12.
And I think it's indicative that with Adelaide being quiet today, so is Tony McGuinness, and he is such a, as we see the free kick once more, a very obvious one there. They've really bottled him up so very well, and they've had no running players through the centre. So a very good kick.
And a free kick out of the centre, going the way of the Crows. 9-15 plays 15-12 now after that goal from McGuinness. Campbell got front spot, couldn't complete the mark. Foster trying to tidy up at the back. It's going to be a free kick to the Dogs.
Yes, it's against Jamison, I think it was. He and I think Campbell were having a bit of a jostle, or is it going to Foster?
Foster, I think
correct?
it is. Peter Foster. Off to Steve Wallace, who just heads subtly towards the boundary line.
Well, I don't think Footscray really care. I mean, they're going to get the 4 points even if they won by a point. No one really expected them to win. I'm sure that their fans were here with a lot of optimism, but their practice match form, as Ross has already mentioned, has been fairly ordinary.
Lee sees it over the line, was shoveled over. Tired, frustrating look on his face. And Glenn Coleman, who's had a superb day.
Yes, he's obviously just got pretty sore, I think, after having so many kicks.
Yes, he's certainly done his share. Hart gives it to Klug in extraordinary fashion. Marshall hasn't really been in the game a lot, but a lot of these Crows have been taken out as the game has progressed. Kellett.
Two young guns there really had a go at it, didn't they? Tasker and Grant, and Tasker not giving in, which is terrific to see.
Throw in again. Grant's been fantastic, hasn't he?
My word. Yep.
And we will have yet another throw in.
I think if you look through a side that has controlled the match like Footscray have, it's very difficult to find players that you wouldn't give credit to, because they've all done a job.
They've hardly had of a passenger, really.
Just over 5.5 minutes remaining. Wine had front spot. Bickley first turd, but Liberatore's got him. Hart under pressure, a high kick, difficult one to grab. Hawkins did well getting in front. McIntyre gets the hand pass out straight towards Marshall, close to the boundary line. Lee caught, ripped over the line, but he does get it away to Klug. But look at the harassment. Crunch McDermott, and Footscray finish up with the football. Just continual harassment. Storming his way through was Ben Sexton, who's on for a run. He'll be keen, having watched 3.5 quarters from the boundary line.
How about the passage of play down there, Ross, at left half forward for Adelaide? I mean, Footscray
just couldn't break free, could they?
No way.
No. Whichever they went, they just ran into a wall.
So the ball almost back in the centre. Libert, away he goes. He steals that one. He can have a bounce. The tired Crows can give very little at the moment. This is Ben Sexton. 4.5 minutes remaining. Look at that ball swing round. Past Justin Charles it goes. Wiedemann leading in the race, but we'll be quite happy to see it over the line. Let's go down to the boundary line. We saw Glenn Coleman with that knee. Max, is he okay?
Actually, Sandy went over and had a word to Glenn Coleman. He told me to tell Footscray supporters that he's fine. He just felt that it was time to give the younger blokes a bit of a run, because he reckons he'd done enough work, and he had a bit of a smile on his face.
He's done a great job. Well, that's good. Well done to him today. The Dogs head towards goal once again, and it looks as though it's through. A beauty by Nigel Kellett. So Kellett gets his first, and the Dogs just go on their merry way.
Yes, you've got to admire Footscray. Today they've just persisted, and no matter what the score was, they just kept at it and at it. He nearly got nabbed for going too far here, an extra couple of steps, and he would have, but he finished off very well.
He's quite quick, Nigel Kellett. You know, he can balk and duck and weave at the last second, and that was good work there by him. 16-12 to 9-15, 3.5 minutes left in the game. Footscray go ahead once again, but breaks down because Ingerson gathers the ball, kicks it wide towards the wing. Footscray have got the numbers here. Foster leading, and just content to knock it over the boundary line. So Peter Foster will have a pleasant journey home, 150 games, and coming over here to Adelaide, and his team going home with a very, very good victory under their belt. 16-12 plays 9-15. No one really going anywhere with that football, and the umpire will be forced to bounce. Left half forward for Adelaide, about 65 to 70 metres from their goal. And the ground emptying very, very quickly. Wind standing his ground. Marshall kicked by that player into the pocket. Bounces good for Hodges. Unselfishly over the top, and Jamison will get a goal for Adelaide. Well, whoever's left have seen something good about that. Jamison's goal.
Yes, well, that's his first and one of very few touches for Rod Jamison today. And when you think he finished off his last game of last year with 8 goals against North Melbourne, it's been a very quiet start for the season for Rod Jamison. Good team play there by Hodges to get the ball free. He had either McGuinness or Jamison, the latter doing the job.
Bounce back in the centre, Wind and Ingerson now doing the ruck work. Well done, Atkins. Had 2 goes at that. One was a little kick and one was a tap on. Now Corcoran's kicking towards the right forward pocket. A little bit too far there for Ballantyne. Hart tried to get it back. Now Ballantyne gives it away. Tasker away to Hart. And the short kick may not favour the Adelaide Crows all that much. Callett's got the football. Can't do much with it. Maynard did reasonably well in the finish to hold the footy in, as 2 young fellas there, Colin and Darryl Hart, have something to say to each other, but I think Steve Colin could safely point to the scoreboard.
Yes, just under 2 minutes remaining now, and they're just going through the formalities. Wiedemann from the back line drifts it back in towards the centre. The mark taken by Marshall. He gets it off very quickly. Here's a chance for the Crows to run through Liptak. Centering kick and a good one. Mark again taken by Rod Jamison, who kicked that last goal.
He hasn't had much room to move from Stanfield either.
No, not at all. And the other thing being too, Ian, is they haven't got the ball down to him in that good a fashion either, which obviously makes it far more difficult for a forward.
Jamison from 55 metres. That's a good looking kick. That's a lovely kick off the boot, and it's a goal. 11-15, plays 16-12.
It's a fairly belated one. I'll be very interested to see what Graham Corns does at training this week with the players, whether it's a lack of discipline he sees that hasn't got them up. But a few of the players look lethargic, particularly players like Klug up in the forward line, who normally is very constructive and very effective and a prime mover for them. He really has been right out of sorts, and that's certainly not taking anything away from Bernard too. He's been his marksman for most of the day, but there's just something missing.
Good bounce in the centre. Wine beaten for it by Ingerson. Through comes Corcoran. The left foot kick towards centre half forward. Brilliantly gathered by Grant. McPherson breaks the tackle. There's players everywhere for Footscray. They'll get a goal here. Unselfishly Sexton. Over to Colin, and he won't miss from there. Brilliant football by the Bulldogs to get their 17th goal. Colin 3rd. And they answered that goal from Jamison very, very quickly, getting the ball out of the centre. Yes. 17-12 to 11-15.
A clever kick there by McPherson. Broke 3 tackles, and the Footscray players coming to the centre just to pat young Shannon Corcoran on the back for his effort through the middle of the ground, which is good to see.
3 goals now to Steve Kolyanook. And the Dogs, the first to break the ice here at Football Park in '92. Carlton did it last year after Hawthorn had been humiliated.
Geez, another good tackle by Liberatore then.
Yep. Yes. Whoever is giving the votes today will not have an easy job, and it is.
The advantage of Tony Liberatore has got is that in tackling people, you should always watch their navel around about there, and Tony Liberatore has got a very good chance of watching everyone's navel. It's about his height, I think.
Tregenza's kick finds Wiedemann. He pumps a left foot kick high in towards goal. That could be another belated one. It is. That'll give them something to cheer about.
Yes. I think he's a bit of a hometown hero, isn't he, Wiedemann?
He's a bit of a cult figure.
There it is. The siren has sounded. Wiedemann has kicked his first, but all too late. And that final scoreline showing Footscray 17 goals, 12, 114. Adelaide 12-15, 87, and a big smile on the face of the owner of the $Golden Lotto is Ian Robertson, who tipped the Dogs, and he's very quick to tell us. But a great performance by them.
Well, it was, and you know, Footscray had to be given all the credit that they deserve, because Ross, they must have come over here with a certain amount of trepidation, surely.
Without doubt. I mean, as we say, their practice match form was very poor. Their coach went out on a limb pre-season saying they're going to win the Foster's Cup. They didn't play so well in that competition. Now to come out and naturally the other thing which would have been a great spur for them was Peter Foster's 150. He's been a great club man, well respected by his teammates. They're now running over to thank their supporters.
Do you get
for
the
coming
feeling
over.
that there's a great camaraderie now? I mean, they've been building up, haven't they?
Yeah, I think Footscray's generally had that anyway, Robbo, over the period. But no question, that's been one of the great supports for them today, is the understanding and their love of their teammate.
Well, I think also they've been through it the last couple of years.
They've been kicked around pillar to post.
My word, they have.
Now, I just hope that Sandy, you know, they've promised a lot over a long period of time, Footscray, and if they can keep their feet on the ground, they've got a terrific nucleus, a lot of young players, a lot of good young players to build on.
Well, victory and all smiles for Footscray. We'll take a break. Be back with more shortly.
Well, Doug Hawkins has been good enough to not go straight down to the rooms. A first-class effort there today, beating Adelaide at home.
Yeah, mate, it's a great win. It's probably like winning 2 games, I think, because it's very tough coming over Adelaide. And, you know, to the Adelaide, they give us a hard, tough game. And to our boys, I think our boys played very well as well. So it was a pretty tough game.
Well, what was the team plan with Terry Wheeler before you came over? What did he tell you?
We've been working on this game for about 2 weeks now since we planned ourselves to win the night premiership, and Adelaide did knock us out of that run for our quest. We've been going for about 3 months to get to the night finals, and Adelaide did knock us out. And for 2 weeks, we've been really planning and looking at every player of the Adelaide side. And we've done our homework very well. It's a credit to Terry Wheeler.
Now, the forum, the behind-the-scenes situation with Footscray, this forum, can you tell me a little bit about that? It seems to be working.
Yeah, the forum did work very well today, but our practice match form has been pretty ordinary. But the forum seems to get the results.
Yeah, take the mouth guard out and just quickly.
Excuse me.
That's all right. Only live on television. It's all right. Around Australia too. Now, just tell me about the forum. What goes on? It's a motivation type of thing.
Motivation, and it looks deep into well, sort of about your life and your things of the past, which you go back to and try and improve. And I can't really tell you much more about it, but it's working great results at the moment at Footscray, so we'll just continue it on, I think.
Okay, again, coming here and beating Adelaide. I mean, Adelaide needed to win every game here. You've already knocked them out once. I mean, that does give you something to go on with, doesn't it?
Yeah, certainly does.
Particularly after the Foster's Cup.
They did have a couple of good players out too, which I think helped a bit. You know, Jarman out of the centre, and they missed him. The big fella, Mickham, who had a good year last year. I think might have won the best and fairest. So, you know, had a bit of personnel out too. But to our boys' credit, we played very well.
Okay, mate, thanks for coming and talk to us. Let's go back to Sandy.
Yes, thank you, Max. And Dougie Hawkins saying, well, the Crows had a couple out. The Bulldogs also had a couple of players out, so well done to them. Now, the other game on today is at Waverley Park. We've got a replay coming up shortly for Melbourne viewers and also for viewers in Perth. So if you don't want to know the final score, then look away because it's coming up now.
Don't you know I heard it through the grapevine? Not much longer would you be mine.
So for Melbourne and Perth viewers, highlights of that game coming up shortly. But let's look ahead now to week 2 and the second round of home and away matches. There are some big ones next week. Carlton plays Hawthorn. Melbourne plays Geelong at the MCG with a new stand. That should be quite magnificent. Let's hope we get a big crowd there. Collingwood plays Brisbane. Richmond plays North Melbourne, whilst on Sunday, Sydney plays West Coast. Essendon plays Fitzroy. And Footscray plays St Kilda. Adelaide has the bye, but on Sunday, Footscray and St Kilda should be a fantastic game of football.